cheers all around. The crowd goes wild. Woo! It is the 1,000 subscriber party, everyone. Thanks for coming by on this Saturday evening over here. Man, I am excited for this one. We're going to have tons of people popping in and out, friends of the channel, friends who've been on before, but I figured I'd start a little bit early here before everybody said they'd come on. So I do a little bit of like a monologue here, and then we're going to have everyone hopping in and out as they go. What's going on, chat? Let's see. We got Lady Shalot in there, of course. Always a pleasure to see you. Vinland, of course, and Salamaki, I see on Twitter. Yeah, thanks for coming by, guys. So we're going to have tons of fun here. We're just pretty much going to celebrate as best we can, and hopefully by the end of the stream tonight, there will be 1,000 subs to the channel. We are currently sitting at, hold on, let me pull up the other screen here, 981. So we've got 19 to go. So hopefully by the end of this, with people spreading the the show far and wide, we'll get to where we need to be. So awesome stuff. Well, hopefully everyone is enjoying their Saturday, relaxed from talking to or freaking out about the stupid nonsense that's going on in the House of Representatives for the Republicans. I haven't even paid attention to this story at all. It just seems like a complete nothing burger nonsense story that I don't even care to talk about. Another story I care even less to talk about is the certain group in Romania that shall not be named. I tell you, I'm just so unbelievably tired talking about these men. They're absolutely everywhere. I mean, my normie friends were talking about them basically nonstop over the New Year's weekend, and oh man, I'm just completely sick of it. So hopefully we can avoid all that BS as much as possible today. So one of the things I wanted to basically just talk about right at the start here is, for those of you guys that didn't watch the the award show that came out, I think it was last week or maybe the week before. I don't remember. Everything tends to run together basically, but kind of like the idea of what we're going to keep on doing with the channel coming into this new year here. This Thursday on Man's Hour, of course, we've got Vince from Masculine Geek. He might stop by later tonight. I know he's out tonight, so we might come in a little bit later here, but he's gonna come on and talk about BDSM on Thursday. I've been wanting to do that show for a long time, and Vince is the guy to talk to, so that's going to be real fun. Thursday as well, we are also starting the poker night streams. So basically it's going to be every other week, every other Thursday from 9 to 11 Eastern time. We're just going to have some friends of the channel in here. We're just going to, play some Texas Hold'em. It's going to be one game is Texas Hold'em, and then 2 weeks later, we're going to do Omaha, and then the 2 weeks after that, we're going to do Texas Hold'em. So we're going to swap back and forth, just kind of have like chill gaming streams where everybody is, playing a good old fashioned game of poker. So that should be fun. Also, we're going to get back into more of the hunting stuff here, posting on Substack, so be on the lookout for that. Also be on the lookout for the Old Glory Club stuff. Be sure to check out what we're doing over there with various streams on great topics. The January 6th one that the guys did yesterday was great. If you guys haven't listened to it, definitely go check that one out. They covered some very good topics on there, and it was definitely a good discussion, so be sure to check that out. We've got a bunch of articles coming out. I was on Pete Quinones' show earlier this week talking about the article I did for Old Glory Club, and that's actually getting a lot of press, so I'm real proud of that work. So go listen to that show I did with Pete. That was tons of fun. Pete's a good guy, and we talked about some really important economic stats, but not from like the nerdy libertarian Cato Institute kind of line of thinking. We're kind of going a little bit deeper there, so definitely check that stuff out. And also plans that I got in the future here as well for the channel is I'm going to start doing way more hunting content. I have a vision for, doing stuff, basically a hunter's guide to basically. So, guys have seen a lot of my posts on Substack. They've seen a lot of my posts on Twitter. I'm actually going to talk about in this monologue the hunt that we did a couple of weeks ago and how I plan on doing a lot more of these into the future here. So basically what I plan on doing is doing more like scripted and edited videos of, just kind of like guides to certain game animals that, people want to get intros into. So I kind of want to do, whitetail deer first. So kind of giving you guys a crash course on, what you're looking for when you're hunting whitetails. And, I have visions for doing basically all the big game animals in North America and abroad. So it'll be going for a very long time, this series, and I'm trying to make it timeless, so people can always go back to it. So kind of giving people the basic intros of like calibers and tactics and seasons and other general tactics and tips that I've picked up for decades of being in the woods, basically. So be on the lookout for that stuff. And then also, actually, he's in the chat right here. Megatron. He's gonna come by later here, but we're also starting kind of like a nerds podcast, basically. Him, myself, and Jack Napier. Our first episode we did on Thursday was actually on Governor's channel. We went for about like an hour and a half or something like that. And we're kind of just doing a kind of a relaxed, kind of like a nerd stream mixed in with some red pill topics as well. I mean, the three of us just jive pretty well together when we're in a conversation, and it's fun to listen to us. We all have similar interests. We're all similar age. Obviously, we're all in this space. So it's nice to just sit back, relax, and swap back and forth. Like notes, which is what the sphere has always been about, and then also just talk about things that we enjoy on the side. So tons of stuff, tons of fun stuff coming down the future here. So basically what I wanted to do for part of this opening monologue here is kind of go over what was going on a couple weeks back when I took three guys. One of them, he and I have been hunting together for a very, very long time, for decades. We were childhood friends. And then I took two other guys that I met in college who had never gone hunting before. And the four of us went and did a pheasant hunt a couple weekends back. And that was tons and tons and tons of fun. It was kind of like a proof of concept in my mind there to try and get more guys, in the online community, in the online space, into the sport of hunting in the future. One of the things I really want to do, hopefully in the fall of this year, if not then next year, is to actually start getting guys in our community out into the woods for the first time, and more or less just take care of everything for them to actually get them into the sport. Now, I'm trying to organize a wild boar hunt down in Texas in the fall here. It's pretty much on like the cheapest end of like a guided hunt that you can do. And one of the reasons why I want to do a guided is I basically want everyone's needs to be taken care of. Hunting is probably the sport that has one of the highest barriers to entry of all of like the major sports that you could do. It's expensive. You're obviously taking life, so it could be like a daunting and emotional task for some people. There's equipment that's involved. Maybe you don't have a gun, or you don't have a bow, or something like that, or you're just not comfortable using it yourself, or something like that. There's safety involved, and travel costs, and all these kinds of things, and also just the tactics of the hunt itself. The proper ways of either stalking or sitting in a blind, or what kind of equipment you have to use. All these kinds of factors come in. It could be a very, very daunting task. And when I'm like educating people on how to first get into a hunt, I always recommend that they actually go through an outfitter, go through an actual professional guide, a professional hunter, a PH, is what we call them in the sphere. And they will basically take care of everything for you. Almost all these guys have, your tags taken care of. They'll have gear for you. They know the tactics to use. They know the terrain. They know the animals. They have, guns that you can use, so you don't have to bring your own equipment. They basically just take care of all these little odds and ends things for you. I mean, now, obviously, the drawback to that is that it's expensive. Like a deer tag, basically, that you can go and get at, any Cabela's or Bass Pro shops in your state is like $25. But to go through an actual outfitter, go hunt for a whitetail or something, it's going to cost you well into the thousands of dollars. So it's kind of like a trade-off, but I still think it's worth it, because the thing that you don't want to do when guys first get into the hunting space, you don't want to send them into the woods with like no expectations, no experience, no one to guide them, and then they just are met with failure after failure. It just doesn't get them invested into the actual sport. It makes them not, makes them not excited to go and try it again. So kind of, this is why I encourage people to, go through the outfitter process. Your chances of success are significantly increased. Going through an outfitter that has everything taken care of for you. They, they know their terrain. They know the numbers of animals in the, certain square mileage that they like to operate out of. They manage them properly. They know where they are. So your number one, your chances of actually being successful on your hunt are significantly higher. And then everything is just basically taken care of for you. The butchering of your game, shipping it off to a taxidermist, all these little things that, the first time hunter just isn't really acquainted with, isn't thinking about. All this kind of stuff is just, it's a weight that's being taken off your shoulders. And you could just spend your time on this, professional hunt here with people who are just taking care of it for you. And what's up, Paul?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, not much, man. Got myself a nice cold drink here, and we're just talking about hunting and stuff. You could definitely join me in on this conversation. So,
Oh man, I haven't been hunting since 2015. I went with my dad rabbit hunting. That was the last time I went. And then what kind of hunting are you talking about?
I was just talking about big game stuff like whitetails and an elk and all that stuff. It's definitely something I want to get more guys into coming into this year. I'm trying to set up a guided hunt for wild boar down in Texas this fall and get a couple guys to go down there and just get them into the sport, basically. So.
Oh, wild boar would be fun. Those things they're dangerous, and I hear they're delicious. So.
Oh yeah, they're great. I've killed so many of them at this point in very weird situations. I mean, I've done it with knives, so basically you send in a bunch of pit bulls that are in Kevlar vests, basically, that are holding down this hog, and you come running in there with a 9 to 10 inch K-bar and just stab the hell out of it. And it's pretty blood pumping experience for sure.
Like a real man.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Alpha male,
That's right. Kill this thing with a knife the way our ancestors did.
Yeah, exactly. That'll give me, top G awards, for sure. So.
It's definitely primal rewards, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like it really just is. I just feel like it's just like it's something you're supposed to do. When you go out and hunt something, it's I don't know. When I did it the first time I was a little kid, I was like, oh, I'm doing this forever. There's absolutely no way, I can't stand like the vegan activism bullshit, saying like, oh, human beings aren't supposed to eat meat. It's like, shut your fucking mouth.
That's just stupid.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. So how things been going, man? How the podcast is going well for you and everything?
Podcast is going great. Yeah, it's been fascinating. 2022 was incredible for me because I'm new. I'm relatively new to the space, and being able to reach out to guys that have been in the space for a long time, getting them on my show, getting to know them, and then eventually getting invited to Rule Zero was huge for me. So
yeah, that's awesome,
I'm totally the noob to the space though, and I recognize that, and I appreciate it actually when like I think I know something, and then guys that have been in the space for like the last 10 15 years or whatever, they're like actually that's inaccurate, then I'm like, okay, cool, like set me straight. I don't have an ego about it, and I'm here to learn. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's Ryan or Chesty or someone will always be correcting you on like a Twitter or something when you say something, but they're great guys, so it's not like they're shitting on you or anything like that. They're fun to talk to.
Right. And the way I look at it, I look at it strictly like, I have an empty cup, and I don't know the stuff as well as these guys, and so it's totally like I take the ego out of it, and I'm like, teach me, So I'm happy to do that. But you can tell when these guys do sort of like correct people in a sort of playful, poking the bear way, and then you see people just absolutely lose their shit on Twitter. You're like, yeah, there you go. That's someone that just has no idea what they're doing. It's a total ego protection situation, and yeah, they like, if you can't handle being razzed from the boys, like how are you supposed to handle being, handle a shit test with a chick,
Yeah, it's 100% true. I mean, Mish has been on fire with that, like the past like 3 or 4 weeks or so. His Twitter feed has been hilarious to watch, man.
Oh man. Yeah, it's funny too, because I was recently just on Coach Kareem's channel, and I'm willing to pretty much work with anybody in the space. I don't really have a lot of biases. There's a few people like, I've been warned to like stay away from. But if I haven't been warned, like I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'll be on your show or whatever. And then but yeah, both he and or Mish, I should say, both Mish and Ryan are like, maybe don't go on that guy's show.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, well, you know, he
Yeah,
was,
I mean, you just like you turn around the corner and you just like step in somebody else's minefield, in this
mhm,
space, and it's nuts, man. I mean, that's why I'm enjoying hanging out with like Jack and Rob and like
yeah,
Nick and all those guys like so much more because everyone just they're here for the right reasons and they're here for fun. They're here for other guys,
yeah,
and stuff like that. And it's just so much better. Like Jack was we were talking the other day. He's like, I've seen what the alpha males are, and I don't want any part of them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those guys are all like super down to earth, and yeah, I really enjoy talking with those guys. They give me shit all the time, and
Oh yeah.
but I just I shrug it off. It's like I don't. They're just. I'd be worried if they stopped. Like if they just
Mm,
stopped interacting with me completely, I'd be like, something's up. Like I pissed them off somehow. But if they're razzing me, I'm like, okay, we're still on
yeah.
good terms. Where-
Exactly.
Whereas, yeah, it's funny though. There's like other people in this space. It's almost like high school though. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like it's crazy. There's so much like ego and investment in all these people's like personal brands. It's a weird dynamic that I've noticed since getting into this space that I'm trying to navigate. You know,
Yeah, exactly. You have to laugh when you hear somebody like Chesty or Ryan or even like Jack or Rob or somebody is talking. They're like, "Oh, do you remember this guy from like 2 or 3 years ago or something?" And you just are like a deer in the headlights. Like, "Oh God, what was he doing this time?" I was talking to Ryan recently, and I was like, "We need to get like a bingo sheet of like all the alpha male bullshit things." It's like, "Oh, stuck something up my ass on camera, went on a shooting spree, got in trouble for human trafficking," just cock or something like that, and just see the bingo sheets that we can make. Because
oh
honestly,
yeah.
this space is just fucking nuts, man.
Oh man, speaking of bingo sheets, I think it was on Red Evening Friday. I think Rob said that he and Jack do have some kind of like side bet going on who's going to be the next you know
Oh yeah, that's right. They were talking about that last night. Yeah.
person that totally outs themselves and stuff like that. And it's funny though. Like I look at all that kind of stuff, and I'm just a regular dude. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I'm just a I have a decent job. I don't sit there and try to be like, oh, I'm alpha male, blah blah blah. I'm a regular dude that had problems dating. After I went through a divorce, went through like a LTR, got dumped after all this time, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? Started studying some of this stuff, and then not just studying it, and LARPing online. Like I read this stuff and then I go out and practice it. Okay, what works? What doesn't? Swap notes with guys, joined a group on Facebook of really good dudes. And I made it work. And I built up, a rotation of chicks where I was spinning plates and having a good time. And it's just like I'm a regular guy that applied the knowledge,
Hmm.
and then started a podcast just to talk with other dudes about it. And here we are. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be the next, Andrew Tate or Rich Cooper or anybody. I'm just a regular dude that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just
Just fly low and meet cool people. Yeah.
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 Well, it's so funny though because there's all these guys in the comments. They're like, they hear the whole you got to have six-pack abs, the three
Oh
sixes
my God.
nonsense and stuff, and it's just like, guys, have you even talked to a chick? Like
Yeah.
if you go out and talk to women, like you find out that all these tropes that you hear in the the manosphere are largely bullshit.
Hmm.
There's some serious truths. There's a lot of like Rolo stuff. And, obviously Ryan's stuff is probably some of the best out there.
Have you picked up his new book?
I ordered it. I'm still waiting for it. It should be here next week.
Yeah, yeah. I got it a couple days ago. I haven't really had a deep time to sit down much, but oh man, like the first like chapter or so that I've read is, I mean, it's good stuff, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm excited to finish it. It's like 200 pages and it's pretty digestible so far. Did you read his first book?
I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I read his book mainly because I had interviewed Rolo and Paul Benjamin and Aaron and Rich, And so I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to sort of just go down the Rule Zero roster here and try to talk to everybody. And, but one of the things that I wanted to do before inviting them on my show was like read their stuff, see what they're about. I'm like, I think I'm one of the, Aaron Clary told me I'm like one of the few guys that actually does that. He's like, dude, you actually read my book. Like most people, when they interview me, haven't really read it.
Yeah, he said something similar. I had Cappy on my show on Thursday, and we were
Yeah.
talking about Reconnaissance Man, which is kind of like one
Mm.
of his sleeper books that I don't think gets enough press. He's like, "Oh wow, man, you actually read the book." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
book."
Yeah. You know what's funny about that is I have another author friend. Totally not in the men's space though. He wrote a couple of books on like network security and stuff like that. He's like, no one reads these books. He's like, you'll spend months and stuff writing this stuff, and no one will read it. He's like, I basically use my book as a glorified business card. I'm like, that's sad, dude.
Mhm.
But yeah. So I think like when people like Cappy come on and you've actually read their stuff, it's like, oh wow, you actually did it. I think Ryan told me the same thing. I think you can look at the stats on like Audible for who's actually finished your book, and he's like something like less than 5% of people actually they'll buy it, but they won't actually listen to the whole thing, which is really really sad. And yeah, and his first book, well, you're not monetized yet anyway, right? So his
Yeah,
first
no.
book, Fuck Files, excellent book. And what I really liked about it was that Ryan and I are both sailors,
Yeah, that's right.
and so he's in the Royal Canadian Navy, and obviously I was in the U.S. Navy, but like we have a lot in common. In fact, I got to go visit one of the ships that he used to be deployed on at one point. So I've actually been on that ship. I can't remember what it was called, like the Algonquin or something.
Mm.
But yeah, so he and I we have that sort of I don't know thing in common. I guess that's the word.
Yeah, just
So
like a easy thing that you guys both share. Yeah, that's
mhm.
gotta be cool. I loved his first book. I really liked the way it was structured. I was like, okay, you got the story, and then here's an after action report, and then this is why it's useful.
Mhm.
I loved that structuring of it, and it was very memorable too. It was gripping too. It was like, oh, you actually want to read more, and it made me
Yeah.
laugh a couple times too. It's a funny book.
Yeah, and one thing that I really liked about it was like I'm not a PUA, I'm not,
Hmm.
I when I started learning, how to be better with women and stuff like that, I learned stuff from like Corey Wayne and Dr. Glover's. Dr. Glover has a dating book. If people didn't know that, it's a great book. And this other guy, Christopher Canwell, and a lot of that stuff comes from like David D'Angelo, which is he was sort of in the pickup community, but what he ended up doing was teaching guys how to just be generally more attractive, look for signs of interest, and like walk through open doors type thing, right? Like not going up and like doing like tricks, right? Um,
Hmm.
but one thing that I did find fascinating in Ryan's book was when he explained the cube.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'd never even heard of that. That actually sounds like a fascinating method. I would fuck that up. I would be so in my head trying to remember like how to do this stuff and try to do cold reading that I'm like, I'd much rather be one of those guys that just takes a genuine interest in like the chicks that I'm dating and ask open questions and just not talk so much. Like that just seems easier to me,
Hmm.
and I'm not so in my head with trying to get routines down like the cube. But I mean, if it works for people out there, awesome, do it. That's why I say like whatever works, do whatever works for you.
Yeah,
But that was a
exactly.
fascinating story in his book. I love that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, kind of like what you were talking about earlier about how guys get into like a analysis paralysis,
Hmm.
with this space, they're just like autistically analyzing every, discussion they're in, like, oh, am I being alpha in this situation? Like, what do I say here? What do I get her to, say the magic word to get her to do this thing? And just you're gonna learn so much more from your failures as opposed to reading like 20 books or watching 200 hours of a Rolo live stream.
Hmm.
You'll learn so much more by just getting out there than reading anything. I mean,
Oh
so
yeah.
much of the stuff in this space, it's meant to be taken seriously, not literally, and so many people online just take everything literally, and that's where all our problems come from.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, the biggest thing for me was, I mean, yeah, read these books, but make sure that you like are testing these theories out, and a theory that like that's portrayed in one book that works for these guys might not work for you. you know, and
Mhm.
that was one thing that one thing I see a lot is people get really gay for their guru. They they think that whoever they're learning from, like that's the only way, right?
Yeah.
And one of the best things about having my podcast and being able to pick the brains of some of these like geniuses out there, is that like I've learned that there is more than one way to skin a cat. Oftentimes, and you really just need to figure out what really fits with your personality and what gets you the results that you need, and so like I'm very much like whatever works. Like, oh, did that work for you? Perfect, do it, keep doing that. i
Yeah,
didn't
for
i didn't
sure.
do it that way, but if
Yeah,
it
I
worked for
mean,
you, perfect.
yeah, I mean, your method is going to be different from Ryan's, is going to be different from Troy's, is going to be different from mine, from Rob's, from everybody, because we're all different. I mean, Rob's a short guy, he's got to go at things differently than some other guys. Troy is, the pickup guy, with his James Bond fashion, and everything, and his
Hmm.
amazing accent, so everyone's going to be different, but
Yeah.
it's just the general principles of how women behave. They're just true no matter what you do, and then you could just act accordingly after that. So.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Have you ever read Atomic Attraction by Christopher Canwell?
No, I have not.
So that's one of my I recommend it all the time. I call it like, one of my holy trinity of dating books, because it was something that helped me out. But one of the things in that book that he talks about is dressing in a suit. Like, oh, you should wear a suit and stuff like that. I'm like, I live in fucking cow country, man. Like, if I walked around in a suit, I would look like a complete dipshit out here, So,
Mhm.
really, like, you have to sort of, take some of this information and fit it to your surroundings too. Like some of the information was good though, right? Like wear tighter fitting clothes. A lot of guys walk around in like baggy clothes and they don't look good at all. But if you just wear sometimes like with jeans, like one size smaller than you're used to, like
Mhm.
that's all the difference you need.
Yeah,
So
I mean, my go-to has always been jeans, shirt, and a pair of boots, and that's
mm,
that's literally it, just what works for you, man. I mean, for a space that is preaching all the time about, guys in their frame, it seems like absolutely fucking nobody has it, and they're just looking for everybody else to tell them how to dress up. It's like
yeah.
just relax, man. Oh, but man, how was that Alan Roger Currie interview? It's on my save
Oh,
later. I got to get to it, man, but I haven't watched it yet. How was that?
dude, that was awesome. There's a lot of gems in that. So in how Alan and I got connected was I was doing this series, like a TikTok series, on Rollo's latest book. And so I don't know if you've read Rollo's latest book, but when you go through it, one thing that I realized was that he was coming up with a listed number of game maxims, right? So he has
Hmm.
49 maxims of game in that book. And so as I was listening to that, I was like, I should do a series where say what Rollo's maxim is, and then my take on it, right? And so I did a whole series. I did 49 of them, and one of them talks about, I think it's game maxim 13, and in that one, Rollo basically says how indirect game is more effective than direct game, or something like that. And so I basically agreed with him, not really understanding what direct game was, because I hadn't read Mode One or anything like that, and he specifically is talking about Mode One in the book, and so I put that out there, and then someone on Twitter tagged Alan, and Alan like got pissed, because he's like, dude, you are misrepresenting Mode One and da da da, and instead of getting my feelings hurt, like I said, I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I haven't read Mode One, so I should. So I bumped that up on my reading list. I went on a road trip with my girlfriend down to Phoenix, and so we listened to it on the way down to Phoenix, and then we listened to a second book on the way back, or actually his third book. And so I was like, oh wow, Mode One is nothing like I thought it was. I don't know. Have you read Mode One?
I've not read Mode One. No.
Mm-mm.
I've heard it, summarized many a times, and I probably have, participated in some form of direct game at some point,
Yeah.
without knowing exactly what it is. But no, I haven't read it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going out on a limb here. You probably heard something similar to what I heard, right? Which is Mode One is you basically walk up to chicks and ask them if they want to fuck.
Yep.
That's not it. and that's not it at all. And so that's why what I basically said in that video for Rolo, and that's what Alan's like. I've never said that, and a lot of people get that, have that misinterpretation of what it is. But mode one, essentially, he breaks things down into 4 modes of communication. And mode one is the most direct, but it's not necessarily walking up to a chick saying, "Hey, do you want to fuck?" Right? It can be as simple as saying, "Meet me at this place at this time." When are you
we
free to
all
get
use that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
very good to use.
When are you free to get together? Great. Meet me Thursday night at Applebee's, 7 p.m. Right? That's direct, right? It's not beating around the bush. It's cutting the shit and setting a date, right? So that's mode one, communication style. And so yeah, I mean, listening to that, understanding really what that was. Now, Alan does teach verbal seduction, which is like a separate piece from being direct. And that's where, you get into he sort of reads the situation though, right? He doesn't just walk up to chicks and say, "Hey, do you want to fuck?" Right? Like he watches their body language when he approaches them. He sort of gauges their interest level. And if he can get in close enough to what he calls the left ear zone, where he's close enough to basically whisper in her ear, if she lets him get that close, he knows that he can talk dirty. Right. And so then if you listen to him talk, like he's kind of a smooth talking motherfucker. Right. So you can see how that would work for him, where he basically just starts talking dirty to chicks and he gets their panties wet, and the rest is history after that. But that's what his third book is about, is the verbal seduction stuff. So yeah, if you go to that interview, because I listened to both those books, I had all sorts of questions for him. We really get into it very well. We get into a lot of discussions on all of that without giving away everything in his books. We give out a lot of gems in that. So
yeah, I'll definitely give it a listen at some point this week for sure. Because that one popped up on my radar, and it was sad to hear of his passing. So I definitely want to take advantage of that.
I was absolutely shocked, because we recorded that at the beginning of November, and it was like 3 weeks later, all of a sudden I saw what's his name, Mr. Lucario. I don't know if you know Mr. Lucario.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Yeah. So Mr. Lucario and I are on pretty good terms, and he's been on my podcast too. And I noticed that on Instagram that he posted, "Rest in peace, Alan Roger Currie." And I was like, what? wait, what? Like, I just talked to this guy 3 weeks ago. And yeah, so when I reached out to Mr. Lucario, he was like, "Yeah, dude, that's all I know. I don't have any more information." It was like, crap, So yeah. I consider myself lucky having gotten to get that interview in and get to pick his brain, and actually talk to him about. That's one of the best things about this space, though, is like talking to the guys that wrote the books and really getting into their head and understanding where they're coming from. Man, it's just like, it's priceless.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of priceless guys in the space, Mish, what's up, man?
Hey, man, what's up?
Not much, man. We were talking about you earlier about how you're on fire on Twitter these past like 3 weeks or so. We're loving it, man.
Dude, your memes are lit.
I don't know what happened, but I'm keep gaining followers and saying like, I think I got like maybe somewhere between 400 to 500 followers in the past week.
Wow.
It's insane. I don't know what happened. Like, I wouldn't get that much even if I bought them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we were Jack and Megatron and I were streaming on Thursday, and they pulled up one of your tweets where you were talking about the Tates calling them Dumb and Dumber. And, oh man,
the Dumb and Dumber human trafficking.
Oh man, I was dying laughing on that one.
Yeah, these guys are just. I don't know how people actually fell for these guys. Like, okay, first of all, I've been working for the last 2 decades, like in the human resources field. So reading people, and calling bullshit is kind of, comes with a job.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2019, I knew these two are full of shit. Like, 99% of the people in the manosphere are just full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the 1% are like maybe like how many 10, 15 content creators that are actually legit, that are doing the work.
Yeah.
Including the people in this panel.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest are just full of shit, and they're just after your money, hard-earned money. And that's what I keep saying to the guys. Don't just go buy Gumroad courses. Like, I actually went and bought some of these courses just to see how shitty they are, and they are just shitty, dude. They are shitty.
Oh man. Yeah, it's always funny to see because like you'll see some no name like masculinity account and you'll click on their Gumroad course. It's like $500 or some shit, and then you go to somebody like Troy and one of Troy's courses, it's like $30. So right there, that's just like kind of like a red flag that should tell you something immediately. Like one of the legit guys is pennies on the dollar. One of these like faceless guys, you have no idea who the fuck they are.
One thing you'll see with those guys too on their Gumroad is because I actually like studying those guys, the faceless masculinity accounts, just to see how they're doing their marketing, because it's like, wow, like these guys are selling bullshit and they got like a following of like 60,000 or whatever. It's like, how are these guys that have no substance like getting this kind of following, right? So I'm looking at their stuff, and a lot of the times too, they're selling like PDFs, like a PDF that basically, I don't know, tells you nothing. And so like I have a Gumroad course now myself, but I put a lot of work into it. It's like 4.5 hours of video where I'm like breaking things down. So I don't want to be one of those like grifter guys selling a Gumroad course. It just happens to be like Gumroad makes it really easy,
Speaking of grifter guys coming in the space with Skyrim videos and shit, my God, Alex, what's up, man?
Biggest grifter of them all.
Yeah, that's right. You should see my bank accounts coming from my internet fundage from my 200 sub Skyrim channel. How's it going, guys?
Going great, man.
Why did you rebrand your channel to Skyrim? Just got sick of the shit or what?
I basically I sat down and thought about it. I'm like, am I really just going to parrot the RP stuff? And I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna start having a good time. And you know what? It's been working. So it's just great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, you notice this microphone? It's pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, we're mic buddies, bro.
We're mic bros.
Yeah.
Look at you guys with your nice mics and shit. And I'm just sitting here with a headphone.
Get a little closer to your guys' mouth and open wide. Yeah. No. Take a picture for Misha's memes later. Yeah.
Actually called Alex and was like, dude, I need a better mic. Cause my first Rule Zero, I compared to like Rollo's like professional setup, I sounded very Bush League, and I was like, I got to get a better fucking mic. So I called Alex up. I was like, what kind of mic do you have, man? It sounds great. So
these things are awesome.
Yeah. Cappy turned me on to this Blue Yeti that I'm using right now. It's working pretty well for me. So
I can't tell, but do you have a rubber band on it or?
I do not.
That makes it sound better.
Yeah.
Are you flipping the camera off? Like, are you doing this right?
Yeah, exactly. The office for today, you bastards. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man. Did you have surgery yesterday, man? Did I see that right?
Yeah.
Alex?
Okay. So it was a surgery, right? But it was the final implant going into my jawbone. It was already in there actually, but it failed. So if in case anybody is not aware, I'm getting the like full dental implants done. These are temporary that are in right now. And I'm getting the permanent ones.
Oh, nice.
Which, I should be getting those in like 6 weeks, as long as this heals just fine. But yeah, like I was typing in the chat earlier that of Dave Andrus's stream, because everybody was asking me. But yeah, this is like so much easier than the past procedures have been. Like I'm in almost no pain.
The drugs help.
Oh yeah, I'm woo.
Makes for good content. Well, that's good that you're feeling better, man. So
yeah. Enjoy the new teeth.
Dude, the old teeth had to go, dude. Yeah. They had to go. I don't think anybody has like known me or my like online presence long enough to actually like remember what they looked like. They were pretty bad. I see pictures of them now, and I look at them like, God. Like,
yeah,
meth. Yeah, I was gonna say meth. Beat me to it, Mish. Yeah.
Gosh, if that was it, I would admit to it. Like I would be like, "Yep, that's what the problem was," and then I would sell my success story about how I got
on Gumroad.
line on
Gumroad. Gotta get a
right?
Gumroad course for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to
Maybe
look
get a
smacks with his
Chad chin.
chin. Yeah.
Yep.
Ah,
Those, but
man.
like, yeah, speaking of the Gumroad courses, I think I retweeted somebody or quote tweeted somebody about how spirits and alcohol are evil, and he's selling
Oh
like a
yeah, I
Gumroad
saw
course.
that.
Like I'm just it's amazing to me like how standardized the grift is nowadays. It's like it's so plain to see that anybody that falls for it nowadays, like, God, you deserve it. You deserve
Mm.
to waste your money on those idiots.
Yeah, I can't fucking stand those like the lists and stuff. And it actually has turned me off to doing like any lists basically in my content. You know, like the threads, it's like 10 things about something. It's like, oh my God, I
Paul's
do
gonna
this
light
once.
up.
I'm like, for fuck's
Love
shit.
lists, man. Love that shit.
Oh, dude,
Like,
I was gonna do a thread about like how to basically catch a grifter online, and I was writing that yesterday. I'm like, I'm not getting paid enough for this shit. No, let them
yeah.
burn. I don't care, dude. Fuck it. No, nobody's
Yeah,
gonna
dude.
learn. Nobody's
Mhm.
gonna, actually listen to what I say.
Well,
No.
it's I mean, if you're trying to actually market, right, which I'm trying to get people into the podcast, right? Because the podcast, like, I learned this from Ryan, right? Twitter is top of the funnel. You
Yeah.
know, you gotta like
Mhm.
you put shit out there to get people's eyes on the real substance, which is the podcast, and then and then you make your money by selling stuff, like a book or coffee mug or something like that. That's bottom of the funnel type stuff. But on Twitter, like I was telling Hawk and Mish, like I like studying the faceless masculinity accounts and how are they getting all this engagement? What are they doing? And like the platitudes is like the simplest thing ever. And like
Mhm.
you can use a tool like Buffer and schedule that shit out. So I have like my platitudes, my 10 a.m. 10 a.m. MST every day. You'll see a dumbass platitude, right?
And
And
we do.
I fully admit it. It's a dumbass platitude most of the time, but it's top of the funnel type stuff and it works. So it's like, well, fucking do what works, play the game. So
Which is
I'm doing the same
fine.
thing.
Like, there's one thing you guys don't know. Maybe most of these accounts they have their own like group chats.
Mhm.
When they tweet something, they share it between each other so they can retweet it to
Yeah.
reach more audience.
mhm.
I've seen this happen
Hustlers University style, man.
exactly like I've seen this happen like years ago in the Saudi side of Twitter, like the Arab side. They had these groups of, they call them big fish accounts, so they retweet to each other so they get the most exposure that they could get, that they could get, basically anon accounts with millions of followers, and they have
Mhm.
zero content,
Yeah.
and they're just also grifting, but it's a different kind of grift.
Yeah.
They have these discount codes, they have these shitty stuff they sell online, which is the same thing.
Political accounts do the same thing because years ago, leading up to like the Trump's first election, I was in a bunch of those groups for like political stuff. I had a like political Twitter account because I used to be
Mhm.
like really into politics. I fucking can't stand it anymore. But
Mm.
yeah, you go in there and they have what's called like trains, Twitter trains, where they tweet a whole like bunch of people's names on it, and then they share the train in these groups, and people just retweet the shit out of it, right? And then everyone builds up this big following. But the funny thing about it is that all the people in those groups, they have like this huge following, but no one's actually looking at their shit
Nothing, yeah.
because everyone's just retweeting what they're supposed to retweet and not actually engaging. It's the dumbest way to get a following ever. So never do that.
Yeah, it's always funny to watch like these guys have like 50K subs and they'll have like 12 likes on a tweet or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you bought your followers.
Yeah, or you just join one of these groups, and they're it's just people aren't actually engaging with that stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I started doing the platitudes thing is people actually engage with that stuff. It's people like that stuff, so it's like it
Yeah,
gives
I
people
mean,
what they
like
want. Yeah.
I guess like the golden zone for like one of these like viral tweets is something where like I guess you'd call them like the tier one manosphere guys like will just passively agree with because they're like in the anger phase, like hate woman, and then also on the other side it'll get all like the lefties or the feminists or someone stupid like to respond as well. So I mean, just any kind of traction, you know, is what you need. So it satisfies both sides of that.
Yeah, it's good to put out something sort of polarizing because then people get in like arguments in the chat, and that keeps like, you know, the algorithm going, and that's the magic there, especially on like platforms like TikTok and stuff, you know, because it's all about views. So
Yeah, basically red meat. The thing I notice is whenever I post something like, you know, borderline misogynistic, it gets more engagement. And whenever I post something that's, you know, like within the boundaries of real life, like, you know, men and women complete each other, you know, like how real life it's supposed to be, like there's little to no engagement, or like I get people like, oh dude, are you horny? I'm like, no, I'm not horny.
That's the
Like,
gayest thing you've ever said. Always see those tweets.
Do you think I hate women? Like, dude, I love women. I have like hundreds of them.
and then I'll write like this banger tweet, and I'll get like, I don't know, 100 impressions on it. I'm like,
yeah,
I actually put time into this one. I think I'll just give a voice to like some of the people when it comes to the red meat, and that's what I've been posting lately. Is just like,
yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, and you've been getting a lot of.
I've turned it up, dude. I have. It's just like Paul saying, dude. It's on purpose. It's definitely on purpose.
Which I have seen it. I'm doing it myself, honestly, to get some engagement and some followers. Just post some red meat, some memes, you know, some dumbass meme about women,
you know
or whatever.
What? You know what pisses me off the most, though? What pisses me off the most is that you guys were just talking about like these Twitter trains or whatever, and like that they don't really get any engagement. Well, like the red meat stuff, it gets engagement, but like it's so focused on the negative, this weird dumb thing. Like these, like I posted this one thing of this overweight, like definitely obese feminist comedian, and I have hundreds of comments and impressions and stuff on it, but it's all just talking about how fat she is. And I was like,
fat women.
And my whole post was like about how feminism is not about hating men; it's about trying to get men to hate themselves. Like it's a tactic.
It just like flew by, like,
and everybody's like, "Oh, she's fat." Guys, you guys are so stupid.
Hate your audience just a little.
I hate them a lot.
Honestly, I don't reply to people that I don't know anymore. Like I get some people who just keep commenting stupid stuff, and you know, because I'm a Muslim, sometimes they try to bait me with the Muslim stuff. Just
I mean, in your case, you're gonna get fatwas sent against you. You know, from certain people.
You don't know. Like I have so many DMs I haven't replied to. People just either they want to kill me, they want to cut my head, and some random tit pics as well. Like, which is weird. I don't know if I should be afraid or should I be horny. I don't know.
This is definitely not one of those why not both situations. It's not both.
You know, speaking of like the faceless accounts, I have to laugh when you guys know who Kate is. Occasionally she will do this. Well, she'll point out like 3 or 4 of these like masculinity accounts who have like the chick's face or like the chick in the avatar. Like that's a man. It's run by a man. You know?
Yeah.
That's a dude, bro. Yeah.
Dude, do you guys remember like a few weeks ago? I think a month ago, I changed. Okay, so I wasn't honestly like sober that night. And I decided to change my Avi to a chick's Avi. And
yes,
I remember when you did that. Yeah,
that was hilarious. Yeah,
I got like maybe 16 people following me without tweeting anything for 2 days, I think, or maybe 1 day, just for having that Avi. I'm like, wow.
Dude, that's the tits and simps, you know, miracle.
Oh man. You know, I forget who said this quote. It was one of these like prolific internet posters or something like that. And the quote is basically like, in order to be a man, in order to make money on the internet as a man, you have to profoundly change people's ways of thinking using only your words. And to be a chick, to make money on the internet, all you gotta do is show tits.
Yeah. I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but have you guys heard of Sarah Dawn Moore?
Yep.
She started out, haven't you? She started out big on TikTok, right? And then she moved over to YouTube Shorts now, and she's killing it over there, I think.
Dude, she's killing it everywhere. And like I asked her one time, like, just fascinated by her marketing, because I noticed within a period of 3 weeks, she went from like 3,000 followers on Instagram to 57,000 followers, right? And I was like,
Wow.
how? And she's got like well over 100, like maybe even 300K on Instagram now, and she's got about 250,000 on YouTube. And I'm just like, what is your, like, how are you doing this? Like,
That's
what's your secret? And she goes, well, I make engaging content, and like, you know, the red
yeah.
background and all this stuff. And she goes, and let's be honest, I have tits. I was like, I admire your honesty, Sarah. Yeah. So
Yep.
she's a little pissed at me right now, because on one of my podcasts, I was talking to this guy that was beefing with her, and I said that she sort of pivoted from being almost like an MRA type, like telling women that they suck, to being like, I'm gonna give all this information to men and be like a dating coach for men. And I said on my show,
Ooh.
I said, because she said that to me in an interview, and when she said that, like, I immediately just like clicked in my head, like, that's questionable. You know, it's questionable when they pivot like that. And so I said that in this podcast, and she heard it. She got really pissed at me, and but I'm supposed to go live with her on Tuesday now to talk about the pros and cons of women dating coaches. So that should be fun.
Everyone's talking about the woman in the space again. You know, just
Yeah.
Dude, you wanna see the like you wanna hear the funniest thing? I remember a while back I showed this chick I talked to on Twitter DMs. You guys probably know her. I'm not gonna mention her name. I showed her a picture of one of the girls I was seeing, and she was like, "No, Mish, stay away from her. She looks evil and everything." And I didn't tell her like I've been seeing this girl for a while, and everything she told me about this girl, the girl was the total opposite.
Mm.
She told me that she's evil, she's full of red flags, and I should stop seeing her, and she's gonna break my heart and everything. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, yes,
That's nice, dear. Yeah.
yeah. I'm like that woman was like 180 degrees opposite of whatever she said.
Just more evidence that the women are just the best dating coaches. They give the most sound advice. We should listen to everything they say at all times. Yes.
No.
Have any of you guys heard of Jamie Date?
No.
Jamie Date.
I'm so proud that when everyone like says like this new name that comes up, like 9 times out of 10, like who?
Well, it's like, I mean, it's if you're are any of you guys on? I know Alex is on TikTok, but are any of you other guys on TikTok?
No.
I haven't really even touched it, man. Honestly, in a couple of months, yeah.
Yeah, it's trash now. But when it was like sort of when I was really active on it, because I was posting a lot of content about dating and stuff like that, like all these other dating coaches just show up in my timeline. So I sort of like know all the TikTok dating coaches out there. And Jamie Date is one of them. And I've stitched a couple of her videos basically talking about like how whatever she's saying is full of shit, you know? And the funny thing is, like, I actually am friends with a guy that handles like sales for the company she works for. So he put me in contact with her, and I chatted with her the other night, and she's going to be on the podcast. But she's kind of a fascinating fish, right? Because one of the things that she does professionally, she's been doing this for years, is she will go on dating apps and act like a man to do research.
Oh,
so she's
a surprise.
She's a professional catfish. So she does have some unique information that I would say most of these chicks in the space don't have. Like most chicks are just, saying their feelings and giving you the same blue pill, just be yourself shit, shower women with compliments and flowers and chocolates and whatever. But this chick actually does have some useful information, but some of it I think is.
Dude, she's actually smart. I remember when I first downloaded Tinder back in 2018, and I sucked for the whole year. I got maybe like 2 matches in 2018. Then I decided to see what's on the other side. So I opened my account to men as well, just to see the competition.
Mm-hmm.
And that opened my eyes. 2019, I got maybe around 700 matches. And up to this year, I think I'm up to 3,500 matches between 5 accounts because I kept like deleting and making new accounts just to test out, different profiles, different bios, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
have to
she's
restart it
smart for
from
doing
time
that.
to time to get back into the algorithms and stuff. It's
Yeah.
definitely true.
Yep.
Dr. Robert Glover in Dating Essentials for Men, he actually recommends guys do that to look at dating apps from the women's perspective so that they can see their competition, see what not to do, kind of stuff. And if you saw a post or saw a profile that looked really good, like you could use it, like, use it as inspiration for your stuff, that kind of thing. But yeah, so it is good to sort of do that market research when it comes to dating apps.
Yeah, and honestly, like once you crack out or crack down the code, uh, so to speak, on these online dating apps, like right now, I have a set of pictures that is enough. I don't need even to write a bio. Even my bio is the silliest bio. Like the latest account, my bio is something like. Okay, so it's like, do you know that cats meow at humans as a form of communication? That's my bio.
Oh my god!
I'm not kidding. I think I deleted my account 2 weeks ago because it kept annoying me. I think I reached 80 matches so far.
Nice.
Yeah, less is definitely more with bios.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, some guys write out like they just write out like an entire book, or they put it in like resume format, or what they'll do is they'll put what a lot of guys do is they put a lot of negative shit in there, right? Like they talk about what they don't want, like, oh, if you're a smoker, you can swipe left, and if you're
dude,
a feminist bitch,
that doesn't
fuck
work.
you.
Shooting yourself, shooting your
That doesn't
dick.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like stepping on their own dick. Because I've seen how chicks use this stuff before. Like I've had a female friend because she was so ugly. I kept her as a friend. So she was the best research material. Honestly, like she showed me her Tinder and Bumble and how she swipes and reads the profiles. And I've seen one chick on the airplane, the links that she went to just to look after this guy that she matched with. She looked into his profile, read the bio, went into his Instagram account, looked through all of his pictures, zoomed on the pictures, read the comments, went into LinkedIn and looked him up on LinkedIn, then texted the guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, women are like fucking Batman, dude. They're like
That
they're like
is
the
insane, dude.
they're like the FBI. One thing I went to a men's retreat in 2021 with a dating coach friend of mine, and one of the things that he did at the retreat was he had his wife set up a fake I think it was Bumble profile, and she just randomly swiped on like 300 dudes or whatever, and she immediately had 100% match rate. And they were trying to show us what they were trying to show us was like how dating apps suck, and you should use his method of picking up chicks on Facebook or something. But what we all learned from it was like how women use dating apps, and we saw that women easily get very high match rate, and so what they end up using the app for is more about filtering their options out as opposed to finding a match. And
Exactly.
so they're looking at it from the preview mode. They're like, when you send like your opener to these chicks, like they're looking at it in preview mode. It wasn't Bumble because all these guys were opening her, so maybe Tinder or something, I can't remember. But they're all opening her, and so she was showing us like how she used to use dating apps, and basically it was like you had to capture her attention in the first 7 words.
Yep.
And only then would she actually go and look at your profile, because she was looking at your your main profile picture first. Like, okay, yeah, he's cute, I will investigate further, right? And then they'll go down a rabbit hole that way. But otherwise, like all the guys that just start off with hey beautiful, you look like trouble, like those guys just get completely disregarded. You know.
Yep. Honestly, like my opening lines in these apps usually nets me 70% success rate, I would say. And I usually just pick whoever I want to open. So usually checks that have other social media links there, I don't even bother with them. They're just looking for more followers.
Yeah.
If they have pictures of themselves, okay, so over here we don't have that many women that post their pictures, because of the culture and everything. They want to do everything on the down low.
Mm,
So if you found someone with beautiful pictures, that she's just a thirst trap,
mm,
and your success rate is going to be very low, so you don't bother with her. I usually just open up with something witty, something funny, comment something other than her looks, and
mhm.
that's usually a 70% success rate with me. I usually
Yeah.
get a reply usually.
My favorite to do is you always get those pictures where the chick is like in a bikini or something, or showing like an ass shot like in the mirror or something like that.
Mm.
One of my favorite things to do is just comment on something in the background of the
Yep.
picture. Oh
That
man, it
works.
works so well.
I would always try to find a picture and then try to guess what she was thinking in the moment. Right. Like
Mm.
picture number 3, you look like you forgot to close, or you're thinking about how you may have left the garage door open. I don't know. Like it's something like that. Right. If a lot of times just making a statement like that will get a response, because they'll be like, I wasn't thinking that, or, oh, actually, it's funny that you say that. Why would you think that, or whatever? Like it gets them curious. So I like that one. And plus it's tailored to each chick, right? It's clearly not a copy and paste thing, So
Mhm.
that was my go-to.
I've been getting a lot of bots recently that are like East Asian chicks. They're just shilling like crypto stuff. It's very very common.
I love
Last
the
like 6
broken
months or so.
broken English when they reach out to you and it's like,
Oh,
okay, what the fuck? And then they immediately send you a phone number. You're like, get the fuck out of here.
yeah. Oh yeah. 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 That's always like a red flag if you match with a chick and then she texts you back on the app within like 5 minutes, like, okay, you're not fucking real. There's no way. So no, that always happens. And then the funny one with the Asian chicks doing like crypto stuff, they'll say it in like broken English, like, "Oh, I'm really looking for a relationship. I unmatch you on this and give you, WhatsApp or whatever, because I only want to focus on one guy." So shut the fuck up. It's so like no one gets access to your account, so they could report you and get you banned again.
Mhm.
It's kind of funny, to like. I mean, for us, the best thing to do is get the chick off the app, immediately. But it's kind of funny how they do the same thing. Well,
Oh, dude, like honestly, I've reached a point like this year where I don't even bother getting them off the app. I have them ask me for like a form of communication. Like, do you have a Snapchat? Do you have a phone number we can talk outside this app? Because I
mm,
keep just stringing them along for days and days to end until they're bored. Like, hey, give us your Snapchat, your Instagram, whatever.
mm.
So funny. Because this year I've been so busy with work and life, and having women. It's not an easy job, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you guys, I from what I like when I talk to dating coaches and stuff, there's basically 2 schools of thought when it comes to setting up a date from a dating app, right? There's one where it's like you get a chick's number, you like
Mhm.
basically number close on the app, and then you call her and set the date over the phone. Very old school,
Mm.
pique her interest doing that. Or do you guys set the date on the app itself?
I try at this point to number close within the first, 5 to 10 texts with the chick.
Mhm.
And if I don't get the number like right away, then she's not going to give it to you in the future. So I just basically just disengage at that point. It's like, okay, you're not worth my time.
Got it.
All right.
What about
So for me, it's more about OPSEC because I've
Mm,
dealt with crazy before. I usually don't give them any sort of like means to reach me outside the app until I meet them for a coffee date. So
Mhm.
I set up the coffee date on the app, go
Makes it
meet
easy
them.
to ghost them that way too.
Exactly. There's
mhm.
literally like because honestly, you guys, I've had a knife pulled on me once before,
I
and
believe it. I
yeah,
believe it.
so I'd rather not deal with crazy at this age. So I just usually meet them, set up the meeting through through Tinder, Bumble, whatever. Go meet them, have a coffee. It's $5 only, not that expensive. Spend an hour or two. If I like the chick, hey, give me your Snapchat, give me your phone number. I'll see her again. If I don't like her, all right, that's cool. I'll drop her off. She'll never hear of me.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like you said, Hawk, I would, banter maybe 10, 15 messages max before finding a segue. And then I would ask them when are they free, and I would set the date on the app. And then after setting that date, getting them to say yes to that, then I would say, well, give me your number. I hate texting on here.
Yeah.
Basically as like another test of interest, right? Like, will they give me their number? And if they are very compliant with that, take the conversations off. I'll usually send them like maybe a voice message or a video message after, just saying, hey, this is Paul from the app. Now you have my number too, or whatever. And then I stop fucking texting and calling and whatever until the date.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. Welcome, Vince. How's it going, man?
Hey, Vince.
What's up, guys? It's going well.
The man with no junk drawer.
I never said I didn't have a junk drawer.
But the thing is, guys,
speaking of ghosting,
I have a junk life. It's that fantastic. Read into that what you will.
But Paul, there's one thing I noticed with chicks, let's say from 18 to 26, maybe. Let's say that age range. These chicks are more into texting than the calling thing.
Mm-hmm.
The older that they get, the more that they're into, okay, so let's set up a date and let's not waste time until we meet. The younger they get, the more they're into texting, sending Snapchats, exchanging memes, whatever, because they're young. I don't know. This is something I noticed.
Well, a lot of chicks are like that. Even older chicks are like that.
Yeah.
But you just have to if you got a chick that's like trying to text you all the time, you just really just space out your replies,
Yeah.
Don't like ignore her, but if you got to sort of train her, like, hey man, I got other shit going on.
Exactly.
Tethered to this phone, and it works out pretty good. But I personally, like, I'm 43. I fucking hate talking on the phone. I don't even like talking to my own mom, So yeah, so the whole idea of like, fuck you. No. So the whole idea of like calling a chick and then having a conversation on the phone to set a date, I'm just like, fuck that. I'll send a voice message maybe over text, but I do not like picking up the phone and calling. And it seems to work out fine in this modern day. A lot of chicks don't like talking on the phone either.
It's Snapchat. No, it's more like Snatch Chat.
That's right.
That's what that is. Snatch Chat. Somebody needs to make that.
I'm sure it's already there.
Like a lot of these assholes have the Fitbit on their wrist. We don't need a Fitbit. You need a fuckbit.
Yes.
Track sexual activity.
Yes.
Your women's time of the month. All kinds of really cool shit. Somebody get on that. You can have that one. That's free from me. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Go with God.
Oh, I've got a buddy who used to be an app developer back in the day. He's retired now, but he had this idea for an app tracking women's menstrual cycles, and he was calling it Bloodhound. And never got off the ground.
So you can integrate it with the fuckbit. And you couldn't get away with on Apple or even Google Play calling it the fuckbit. You'd have to call it the F-bit.
It's $1 million idea there.
Somebody out there just fucking just go do that. Well, that would be ripping off Ryan, and we don't want to do that unless you do something with him as far as licensing is concerned. Because that would be kind of a dick move. Don't do that. I get where you're going, though. I get where you're going.
I don't know Ryan that well, but I don't think he would sign on for that.
It's a potential $1 million venture. That's the F-bit. Somebody do this. Somebody in the chat get on that and at least give me a couple $1,000.
Exactly.
Give me some royalties. I want to retire early. I'm done working, dude. I'm fucking done working.
How's everybody doing, by the way? And thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Things are going good. 1,000 mark.
I am 15 away. We're at 985. I just checked it.
Fuck.
So
come on, guys. I'm assuming everyone in the chat is already subscribed.
I would hope so.
Can you imagine
fucking freeloaders?
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. Send out the bat symbol or something. Get the bat signal in here. Get 15 more.
They're just fucking lurking. I'm not going to subscribe. I'm going to watch. I like to watch.
They call sandbagging. Sandbag it up.
I don't know. On this topic, Vince, where do you find some of your girls? You get them all off the dating apps and stuff. Do you have like a specific,
I'm a hybrid. I find women out in the wild, and I find them on apps. I will talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime, and they're usually women. So yes. In fact, the latest one is the manager at one of the Dunkin' Donuts that I go to. She just turned 30 this past
there
week.
you go.
Ooh,
No,
Master
the end of-
Prime. No, it's kidding.
Hey, I don't care. I'm going to be 53 in February, so I'm
Yeah.
23 years older than she is.
No, I'm the same way. I was trying to explain this to Jack, when I first met Jack, I'm like, dude, I'm 43. Like these chicks that are like 33, like that's young for me. Like that's good. That's I'm okay with that.
10 years and below, that's enough to make you feel like a kid again, honestly.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I'm the plus or minus 10 around like that. I date a woman my age if she gets my dick hard, as Bull Rush would say? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about her I like. Sure, I'm not marrying these chicks.
Yeah.
That's like I've mentioned this before on numerous occasions, and I mentioned in my newsletter. There's two things that I tell a woman, not right away. I don't sit there with a fucking clipboard, but eventually, a little conversation comes down to this: two things you need to know about me. Number one, I'm not marrying you. Number two, we're not going to live together. That clears up a lot of shit right away. I'll be your lover. We'll have going adventures. I'll bring you into this marvelous thing that is Vince right here and all the cool shit that we can do. But beyond that, no. That's probably how I got 2 marriage proposals.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
nice when it happens, right, Vince?
Absolutely. It feels good. Yeah. It wakes you up again. It keeps you young. Keeps you moving. That kind of sexual adventure with females. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. You're resulting in the death of the West, Vince. What do you have to say? For yourself?
Okay. The West here. All this stuff. We're looking at it with a lens right now in 2023. The West has always been declining. Pick a time. In time, somewhere in history, and somebody was fucking complaining about something and the death of something. That's why I tell guys all the time, if you want to study history, okay, read history books. That's fine. Pick specific people, well-known and not well-known, from that time period that you wish to study, plus or minus, say, 20 years, and read their journals if they have them. Read their autobiographies. Read their essays. Find out personal notes they might have. This is very, very important. I've got shelves full of journals, essays, and personal anecdotes of people throughout history.
Yeah,
it's very important.
Every once in a while, you'll share something on Twitter, like or direct with me, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, what's good about that is because it shows you what they were thinking in the time period as opposed to what the narrative was, right?
Correct. And also read both literature and those journals and those essays from men and women. And I say that because a lot of people were going to lay down women were oppressed and blah, 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 blah. No, they weren't. They absolutely were not oppressed. Were they discriminated sometimes? Sure. Yeah, I think there's every group of people has been discriminated at some point or other. Women were definitely not oppressed. And when you read journals and you find out that they own property, they own businesses, they made their way up in certain areas of in careers, you're like, wait a minute, something's not right, because someone's telling me one thing and I'm reading this woman's account and it's not matching up. So yes, seek those things out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, so much of this, Save the West kind of stuff. I mean, back what we were talking about at the very start, Paul, about like analysis paralysis. It's basically like the same thing. They're like just complaining about, certain things sucking. But at the same time, it's like, dude, that's not productive for you to be complaining about the things that suck. I mean, there's plenty of ways to prosper, in this world today. You just got to change your tactics a little bit. So quit bitching and start winning.
Yeah. One thing, I was raised where my parents really focused on politics, right? So I came from like the TradCon type mentality, and so I used to watch the news like most people watch sports, And I would just, the West is in decline. I get so mad, that sort of thing. But then when I stopped doing that and I realized like none of it fucking matters, like if I stop paying attention to the bullshit in the news, it like largely has like no impact on my day-to-day life for the most part. Like I've just been a much happier person,
Yeah. Does any of the bullshit going on right now with the Republicans in the House for whatever stupid fucking reason they're doing have any effect on you? No,
and nothing
because they're all corrupt.
changes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nothing changes. Like they largely argue about like pointless social issues that get people upset, but behind the scenes, they're shaking hands on shit that fucks us over. Like that's really what it comes down to.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How many times do you need to hear like Tim Pool say like the second Civil War is coming for you to stop listening to it?
Right.
Yeah.
My brother has been preparing for a civil war for the last like 30 years. And it's like, dude, if it hasn't happened yet, I mean, I don't know. If it does happen, I got ammo. If it doesn't, I've got ammo. Like, I don't,
I'm just opening my ears listening to Cappy screaming from across the country saying, you guys don't have 10 years supply of food and land overseas. What's wrong with you?
And wheat pennies.
And wheat pennies.
Get your wheat pennies.
Oh man. So how was everyone's New Year's? Did you guys all have a good time?
Mine, I'm still suffering from mine. I've been sick. Yeah, I've been sick the whole week. Apparently, at this age, partying for 4 days nonstop is not a thing I should be doing. I don't know. Did I? I think I sent Vince something while I was under the influence. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Yes, you did the drinking and dialing. So yes, I'm not complaining. So
yeah, I think I sent you the one in the black and white, right?
You did. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yes. That's.
That was a piece of art. Yeah.
Oh, that was.
So yeah. So
that's one way to put it. Yes.
It was 4 days full of degeneracy and fun, partying, dancing, and I cannot complain. And I was shit posting while drunk on Twitter.
Nice. Do you guys kind of just do the same general like New Year's celebration over there as we kind of do over here? It's just drunkenness and stupidity, and you guys don't have like something crazy go down like a ball drop or anything like that, do you? Or nothing like that?
We don't have alcohol for starters, like publicly, but they do the New Year celebration thing. Like we have these skyscrapers, fireworks, and they do the countdown thing, throughout the country. But you don't see it on the mainstream media. And people actually they celebrate the New Year's Eve. But I didn't celebrate it over here. I traveled actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's why there was a lot of degeneracy.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I was with 14 buddies of mine. We all rented a cabin in rural Pennsylvania for 4 days, and it was just a lot of alcohol consumed and a lot of watching football and playing poker and stuff, and it was fantastic. Tons of fun.
Nice.
Nah, I'm the boring guy. I'm the guy with many children. So I mean, my sister-in-law came over with her fiance, and the girls put on a nice spread of food, and we just chowed down on things that were bad for us for a day, and drank a little bit and played some cards and watched the ball drop. And I was passed out about 8 minutes after brushing my teeth after the ball dropped.
Yeah, I was up until 4 o'clock, so that was not me. But
yeah, keep listening to you guys talk about like dating apps and meeting women, and I'm like, damn, I'm the boring guy here somehow. It's me.
I'm not on dating apps anymore because I do have an LTR. So I went with I call her Nurse Chick. I took Nurse Chick to Glenwood Springs. We went and spent a couple hours at the Iron Mountain Hot Springs there, and then we went and ate dinner at there's a really fancy Italian restaurant there called Brava Trattoria or something like that. Best steak you'll ever have. And then we came back here and watched the ball drop at home.
Paul, I gotta say something. This is the funniest thing. You call your girl the Nurse Chick. I call mine the yoga chick.
Was it like I started doing that because when I was in the 3% Man Facebook group, we would do basically field reports, and so I started this trend where I was just nicknaming all these chicks because we were protecting their anonymity, right? So there was
exactly.
there was like Marine Corps chick, there was cop chick, there was all these different chicks that I was dating, and it just stuck that way, and nurse chick happened to be like the only nurse that I dated out of that pool of women, and she's the coolest, so kept her around.
Post receipts, man.
Yeah, post physique. You don't have a girlfriend.
Well, there's something to be said for it. See, it depends on what you're doing. Okay, an anonymous account that comes out of nowhere and you don't have this or even a face on their social media, I'm sorry, but you're a jackass, number one. And number two, you're like a priest giving a sex talk.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just read some books, read some blogs, listen to what's happening here, take some goddamn notes and regurgitate it back. Fuck you. No, fuck you. I do need to see something.
Yeah,
That's why every once in a while I will post something based on my interest in what I do in my personal life. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But you can't say I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I'm not talking out my ass, because there's a lot of people on social media and elsewhere are talking out their ass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'll post pics occasionally of nurse chick, but I always put the heart emoji thing over her face, just because
you
protect her anonymity. But
oh, it's adorable. Yeah.
But yeah, I took she was doing fitness competitions this last year, and so I got a couple of pictures of her in her fitness competition outfit, which looked pretty nice. She had to get, when you do that, they spray tan the shit out of them. So she looked straight up like a black chick, It was hilarious. It was hilarious, and she was sticky. But the funny thing is, like, under the lights, when they get on stage and they're under the lights, they don't, like, it just shows all their definition and stuff like that. They don't look like they're black on stage. It's weird. Yeah. But in person, she looked like a Jamaican chick, which was hot.
Hey, mom.
Yeah. The only reason I protect my anonymity, like on Twitter, especially because I get a lot of death threats, honestly, and I have a lot of people who try to dox me. Like, I've seen some texts from people, asking about me. They want to find my Instagram. They want to find where I am.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, dude, do you really want to dox me, dude? It's not gonna be any good. Like,
people just have so much free time on their hands.
Yeah, they have no lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what am I gonna lose? You're gonna know how do I look like? Like, I don't have anything, honestly, to lose. Like, I'm gonna file a lawsuit against you for doxing me. I'm gonna get richer, and you're gonna end up in jail for like 4 years, 3 years, and you're gonna be paying me like $500,000.
Is that how, like, the laws work for you guys over there? Because to my knowledge, over here in the States, like, it's really, really hard to prove, like, defamation for people.
No, dude. If somebody doxes me over here and I can prove it with screenshots, like, we have an app, I can just go and file a lawsuit against him in 5 minutes, and it's not gonna take like more than 3 days, and they're just gonna get him from his IP address. And like, I'm gonna have a court date with him, and gonna hire a lawyer, and I'm gonna get paid up to 500,000 minimum, like, depending on the damages, and he's gonna face up like up to from 3 to 5 years in jail.
Oh man, at that point you're just like Dirty Harry, like, make my day,
Yeah, I'm like, honestly, like, I've had one of these big manosphere, like, masculinity accounts actually physically like threaten me, and he wanted to fly over here just to kill me. And I told him, dude, don't say that in text. I'm begging you. Like, this is for your own good. Don't say that in text. I'm not gonna screenshot any of this. I'm not gonna file a lawsuit against you because I don't want to end your career. Like, you have 2 wives, dude. You're supporting a family. Like, be smart. Don't say that shit.
Good guy, Mish. Look at that.
Yeah.
Saving people from themselves. Look at you. It's funny. I didn't think this through very well, but like, I use my real name out there. Like that's my real name. And the funny thing is, I never thought about it until when I first met Cappy. He messaged me and he's like, tell me what your real name is, man. Like I promise not to tell anybody. I was like, this is my real name. I probably should have thought that through, huh? There's a lot of guys that use pseudonyms out there smartly because of this type of content will easily get you cancel cultured. It's kind of scary for a lot of people.
I mean, look at Ryan. Like, people are trying to dox him. Like, they keep bringing pictures of chicks he was with, and they think that's his wife. And they
Of
keep
who?
Ryan Stone.
Ryan.
Oh,
yeah. Like he deliberately left some, old pictures and old, I think, posts somewhere, like, of different chicks, and every once in a while we have some guy just bring it up and, oh, look at his wife. This is his wife. She's ugly, and like, oh yeah, dude, that's not his wife, dude. Like, nobody knows how his wife looks like.
Yeah, it's good OPSEC to throw out like like breadcrumbs, but are leading like false directions. Sometimes and stuff like that. It could be real beneficial for you. Like randomly give like different days of like dates in the year, like when your birthday is. Like, oh, I'm in January is my birthday. My birthday's in like March or something. It's like, who the fuck needs to know that? It's just stupid shit like that will actually save your ass sometimes.
Actually, if you read Fuck Files, he says in Fuck Files that he used a picture of his wife there on the cover.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, and it's not a super clear picture, but
and it's still part of his poisoning the well tactic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good.
Genius.
Good.
He's a goddamn evil genius.
Yeah. I'm excited to read more of his book. Hopefully I'll get more time next week to actually dig into it. I was really busy at work this week, but yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, Fuck Files was great. So
yeah, I really liked it. Absolutely. I'm like, I don't know. I read most of the intro. I haven't had much time in it either, but it looks like it's going to be pretty damn good. And there's already been some things that I like. That's what I like about the way Ryan writes, is that he words things in a way where I've actually thought, like, almost damn near paraphrase to what he said. And I'm like, that's why I like him. Because he thinks like I think.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, like, a lot of this stuff shouldn't be like completely 100% news to you. It's just that Ryan has a really, really good way of actually, putting a sentence together and actually like fleshing out a concept. He's truly one of the better guys that we got, for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
And he doesn't take compliments well.
Yeah, that's true as well.
But I asked him about that one time because I was like, talking him up on my podcast, and he's like, like, shut up, and I was like, you really should take more of this praise, because he does do a lot in this space. And he goes, I just look at it like, what do you want? Right? Like he's like, you're just trying to fluff me up to get something, it's like, no, I actually learned a lot from him though.
Dude, like Ryan, I remember the first time I spoke to him in 2019 when I was like having some trouble in my life, and the guy helped me, honestly. The guy helped me. I owe him a lot. Man, he doesn't want to take credit for it, but I do owe him a lot, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely really, really good guy.
I don't know.
Sure.
Do you guys know some dude on Twitter called Zolo?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, the Naughty Nomad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've met him last week. He came over here to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, really?
Very cool.
Amazing dude.
And we had him on Masculine Geek Life, the our private Fortress Zoom hangouts.
Oh, really?
About a year and a half ago. Yeah. He told us stories, because I don't record and it's private. The guests that we have on, we can.
Oh yeah,
they're going to talk about more than what they're going to do on something like this. So I've got some really cool stories locked away in here. Like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah. We shared a lot of stories. Me and him, we showed each other some stuff that's not going to be on public.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Does he still have the boat?
I think he sold it. He told me he sold it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he sold it.
Hmm.
But I'm planning to visit him in Malta sometime. Like Wizz Air just opened over here in Saudi Arabia, and Wizz Air is like the cheapest, flight carrier.
Oh, cool.
So that's gonna open up, a lot of countries for me, basically for
Nice.
cheap.
Nice.
Welcome, Governor. How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going? Finally here.
Hey,
Eh,
Hello, governor.
Aye.
Ah,
There we go.
dude, you finally posted one of those kick-ass DDR videos of yours on Twitter today. I was blown away, man.
Yeah,
did you see his calves?
I saw it on my YouTube and I went, you know what? I'm going to share that link with them. That's the best one. Here, you can have that. Yeah, like I think it was Jack that said it's super cardio. So yeah, it works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked like you were putting up a sweat for sure, man.
Oh,
So
dude, yeah, that thing can burn 1,000 calories in like under an hour. So it's pretty fun.
damn, that's your pickup line. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. No joke. Yesterday, I actually went to our local barcade downtown, and I had some chicks ask me that. They're like, "That's like a serious workout, isn't it?" I went, "Yeah, I can show you." And they said, "Yeah, it's a good conversation piece too." I said, "Yeah, look at us right now." But it was a good
Yeah,
time.
dude, I need to get my ass back to the gym as soon as I feel better. I haven't gone to the gym in 2 weeks now.
Man, I know. Me too. My gym closed down. My 24-hour fitness I was a part of, that was not 5 minutes away. They closed it down, and now the nearest one to me is 25 minutes away. And I said, I think I'm going to build an at-home gym because I'm kind of tired of looking around for one. And the only one near me now is Planet Fitness, and I don't want to count that one. They don't have what I like.
Yeah, I've heard bad stuff about Planet Fitness.
Yeah, they don't even have free weights. You like, if you want to do squats, you just have to use a Smith machine, no matter what.
Wait, they don't have
And
really?
it's kind of boring. Yeah, most people are on the cardio
Oh shit.
yeah, they're doing all the cardio workouts and stuff, which is fine. But I think if I'm going to do cardio, I'd rather do it outside in the elements. Feels a lot better. Like,
Well, I mean, it's nice for you down south where it's not, 10 degrees.
yeah. I do love the cold weather though. When it comes down here finally on the 2 days out of the year it does, I go out there and I celebrate the heck out of it. But yeah, we already got our freeze for this year, so oh well.
Yeah. Well, January is always
cold in here, dude.
always a pain in the ass on the public gyms too, because like all the chicks that are 200 pounds overweight are starting their New Year's resolutions to taking up all the
Ooh, the
machines. at popular
Slumbusters.
hours.
Yeah, they're all over there.
The
And
the New Year's resolutioners that'll be there
Mhm.
for about 4 weeks, and then
if that, yeah, you'll
Yeah.
see them be regulars for a couple weeks and then they're gone, and then they'll say, "Oh, look, I got my workout at the gym." I knew a girl like that. Oh my gosh, she would go with me, and then she started going, "I don't feel like it." And I'm trying to, push her. I like to help a girl work out because sometimes it's motivational, and she kind of gets attracted by it too. And this one, she just would go, "No, that's too hard. I'm starting to hurt." And I'm like, "Okay, no, now I'm gonna go do my own workouts. Forget it." But oh well. Gonna miss that. Yeah, again, I'm gonna miss that gym because they had a pool too. That was fun. I started picking up swimming for cardio too.
Mm.
Oh well.
Oh
But-
Jesus, Burley, that was.
Oh,
Oh, God.
goodness, dude.
No, man.
Man.
But yeah, I mean, it is funny to watch. Like, I saw that Planet Fitness was sponsoring like New Year's Rockin' Eve this year. It's like brought to you by Planet Fitness and the New York Times Square ball drop. Planet Fitness, I'm like, it's funny.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's such a tease too, because if I were to step outside of my place right now and walk outside my complex that I'm in, you can see Planet Fitness across the street. I could walk there if I wanted, but even then, I think it was $25 a month for that, when 24-hour was the same thing, but Planet Fitness doesn't have the pool, the sauna, the steam room, the free weights, all that stuff. So I'd rather just have it all at home, honestly. Then I can
25
do whatever.
bucks.
You what?
Do you know how much I pay for my gym?
Uh-uh.
Oh God, dude, I pay like $160 per month. Fuck's sake, dude. You
Man,
Wow.
guys have it
What
easy
the
over
fuck?
there.
What do you go to a CrossFit gym? Like that's what a CrossFit costs like
What are
that
they?
much.
They
No,
blow,
dude, no.
blow
Like
you when you're done.
most gyms here
Really?
cost between 120 to sometimes $400, depending, on how fancy the gym is.
That's a lot of money.
man, the most
Yeah.
expensive gym around me is about 150 or 160. It's a fancy gym, but again, I couldn't justify even spending on that.
Yeah, mine's $49.99.
Like
Yeah.
I was in one of these gyms, the commercial gyms. I used to pay around $120 a month, and most of the equipment were broken, rusted, and everybody smelled like ass. So
Ugh.
I'm screw that. I'm gonna pay the 50, 60 extra dollars and go to an empty gym that's brand new and has people actual cleaning after you, and everything is working. So I'm like, screw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, the gyms over here are expensive because they're super fancy, honestly. Like they're VIP level.
I've seen you've done like a stream with your phone when you were over there before on Discord like a year ago or
Oh
something
yeah,
like that. I
yeah,
remember seeing that. I was like, damn, that's a sweet place.
yeah.
Showing us all the cars in the parking lot too. Some sweet fucking cars.
Mm,
Yeah,
Man,
people here got a lot of money, man.
yeah, I'll bet, man.
I
Is it
believe
basically
that.
just like, you're either super, super rich or like dirt poor? Is that basically how it goes over there or what?
Kind of like the middle class are just disappearing. Because it's the capital. Everybody's getting paid a lot of money here, or they're not getting paid anything. So you're either getting paid like between $1,000 to $2,000 a month, or you're getting paid, I don't know, $5,000 to $20,000 a month. It's insane the amount of salaries that they give over here.
Wow.
Like literally, if I walk down the street right now and just turn on the camera, you will see like Mercedes, Porsches, all kind of these luxury cars just in the street, not in a parking, not under a shade, just under the sun, thrown in the street.
Mm.
Wow.
I guess it's got to be interesting too, because like, well, I mean, Saudi's a big country, but how much of it is actually like habitable? Like, is most of the population in Mecca, or what's the deal there?
No, it's they have like sections of the country. Like they have the eastern region, they have the northern region, western, central, and each of these regions it has like sort of a capital. So Mecca is in the western region. It has like two major cities, actually three major cities. Two of them are the holy cities, and one like Jeddah is the coastal town. It has the port and everything. There's around maybe I don't know 5 million people there, 6 million in the three cities, and in the capital Riyadh itself, there's like 9 million people only in the capital, and
Wow.
it has small towns around it. So each region has like one major city and like small, I don't know what do you call it in English, small towns, I guess.
Burrows.
Not boroughs. It's like it's like an hour, 2 hour, away. It's an actual like town with a name and everything, and people living there with a different culture than the city itself.
Mm. Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting. Are you guys getting like dominated by expats over there now, or what's the deal over there?
Expats always been in Saudi.
Mm.
It's like the population isn't that much. Like we're 20 million people, I think, and there's 50 million expats.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're also planning to increase the amount by I think to up to like 40 plus million, and they want half of that to be expats.
Wow.
Yep. And you'll be surprised, like if you ever come over here, you're gonna be surprised by the amount of expats we have over here. Like there's a lot of Americans here, British people, basically white people living here and working here, because they get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Man, I've heard of stories like that before. Not just over there, but people expatting to places like North Korea and China even. It's interesting to me because
Dude,
you
if,
would
if
think,
somebody offers you $5,000 a month, tax free, accommodation paid for, like, and they're gonna give you a car, are you gonna move or not?
Yeah, seriously. My best friend had something like that offered to him, I think in Afghanistan or something. He used to be in the military, and he was saying, man, it is so tempting. He was getting offered like 6 figures, tax free, like you said, and offered all this stuff, living accommodations. And I was like, man, if I was him, oh,
Yep.
that would have been almost tempting, but not quite sure how it is over there because I've never been on that side of the world. But
I mean, if you can deal with the culture shock,
Mhm.
and basically not be a retard. Literally, like, there's a lot of expats who come over here and they don't understand the culture and they don't do the homework before they come.
yeah,
So they face all this, trouble fitting in. But the people who actually try to mingle with the people, understand the culture, they fit in fine, and they love it over here, and they don't want to leave because they're getting paid a lot of money. I know some expats who are getting paid like $20,000 a month.
Wow.
that's awesome, man.
Shit. That'd be nice.
Yep.
I hear something similar like that with a lot of countries too, and I guess that's just anywhere. Any American normies, they move over to another country and they
Yep.
want to bring their America with them. Like Japan, for example, that friend of mine I was telling you about, he lived in Japan for a bit, and he knew some people that moved over there, and he just didn't know how to act right. And there's a reason that some restaurants won't even let Americans into Japan or into their places because they don't want to deal with them, and I don't blame them.
We do have that reputation of being the ugly Americans, though, because
Yep.
we do tend to walk around like, our shit don't stink, and
Mhm.
everything
Yeah.
should be like it is in America, which is like, it's totally not if you go
Mm-mm.
anywhere else.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, you just walk around with like that Team America, World Police energy, Yeah.
America, fuck yeah. Right.
Oh man, what a great movie.
That should be the new national anthem. I swear someone should put in some kind of vote for that. Get rid of that Francis Scott Keys bullshit. Let's get some Team America.
At this point in time, that would not be the most ridiculous request ever made, probably. I mean, look at all the stuff that people try to pass, and I mean, laws and whatnot, and then what was it? Trying to make people sign petitions and everything to do stupid things. I would say that's actually pretty top of the list of awesome stuff. So,
those online petitions that started under like Barack Obama, they're the most pointless fucking things of all time. You know, but it makes people feel good. That's what it's all about. It's
a nice psyop.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like it gets people involved, makes them think that like their votes actually count for something when basically both parties are literally two sides of the exact same coin. Like who really gives a shit who's in charge?
Well,
oh wow, you're going to increase my taxes more. Wonderful.
Exactly. Well, you find out who is concerned about what, so you can cause problems for them later.
I'm really enjoying the phrase uniparty lately. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, boys, I think I'm going to take off. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I've done
same here.
I've done before this, like about 4 hours of live streaming earlier. So I'm a little worn out from live streaming, but
I'm tired.
No, cool. Thanks for coming on, guys. See ya.
Yeah, I got to bounce too. I got work in a couple hours, and I get ready.
Oh yeah.
Right. Be well. See ya, man.
Take care, boys. Have fun.
See ya.
Yeah.
And then there were 3.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now that those two assholes are gone,
finally.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. Nice. Vince, you were talking about going to the like crossing of the Delaware stuff on like a Christmas when we last talked. How was that, man?
That was cool. It was cold as fuck.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
A lot of people there. So, and I'm about 40 minutes from there. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat thing to see at some point, I'm sure. But on Christmas Day, I just tucked in, man. It was 9 degrees, 9 degrees, freezing ass cold. And,
yeah, it was about, I forget what it was. It was in the 20s or 30s.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I went to the 3 o'clock. It was fucking cold. They do it. They used to do it earlier, and I think the attendance wasn't what they thought it would be, because nobody wants to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday to go to a reenactment, no matter what kind of reenactment it is. So they changed it to 11 and 3.
Yeah, I went to Gettysburg for the first time in my life earlier this year and saw a bunch of reenactments there. That was really, really cool.
Cool. Yeah, I'm a regular in that town. That's one of my writing retreats.
Oh, sweet, man. Yeah, yeah. I had tons of fun there. It was cool. I didn't really know what to expect, like the emotions I would be feeling. It was like the first Civil War battlefield I'd gone to.
Oh, okay.
It was very interesting, try and put everything in perspective. It's like, wow, like not only is this, the site of a famous battle, it's where the most, Americans died on a single day, in history. It's pretty
in
wild.
a matter of minutes, there were just 15,000 men.
Yeah.
How long were we out there?
I was out there just for a day trip.
Okay.
Yeah, I met about 10 or 12 guys out there, and we did a whole tour of it. And it was great. I kind of got caught with my dick in my hand because I walked into the the headquarters there, the national park spot, and of course I got my Glock on me, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, I'm not really supposed to be doing this, but I mean, conceal it pretty well. So, but it was fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Oops is right. It's like, I fucking hate that shit, man. It's like the Second Amendment, bitch. Shut up,
man.
Yeah.
I almost got tasked to work in California with a wildfire job that they wanted us to work on. This like 2 years ago, and I remember having to think about the legalities of what I can carry, what I can take, and everything. And what's funny is one of mine is my revolver that I love so much. That's usually my EDC, my everyday carry. And in California, it's considered a felony to have it because they consider it a sawed-off shotgun. But I have a giant revolver that, it's half a fun gun, half a very just nice gun, about this long. And that's allowed somehow to conceal carry it. I don't know. And then, my Glock, of course, that I have, everybody's got one of those, but, it's limited. I think you can limit yourself to how many bullets you can have in it per magazine or, whatever. And so I remember thinking, man, that's almost, I don't know. I was thinking, I hope I don't get in trouble with whatever laws and regulations I have. Thankfully, I never got sent over there anyway. I ended up getting sent to Alabama instead, which was a heck of a lot better. That was so much less stress.
Yeah, I'll bet. That's one of the reasons why I don't fly anymore if I can help it. I just like driving because I hate having to deal with security and all that bullshit. I just stick my Glock in my truck and be done with it and go haul ass. So
yeah, they'll ask you, it's like, oh, make sure you got the locks on the box, and then the ammo has to be out of the gun. And I go, who's like, I don't understand the whole logic behind a lot of it, because I'm thinking if it's as secure as you're making it, it's not going to matter if it's locked if somebody wanted to break into it anyway. I mean, a lot of those locks can be, busted open regardless. But I mean, okay, sure. I bought a lock box. I bought, some stuff for the places I flew to, but it was a serious pain. And if I had the choice, I probably would have rather driven and just seen all the scenery around me, because I think we've talked about this before. That driving and just getting to see new sights is just so much more satisfying.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was basically the whole conversation Cappy and I had on Thursday, and that was a fun one. But yeah, 100%. And the other thing too is just the average worker that's working on these airlines knows how to process these like firearms bags properly. My grandfather, one time, he was going on a hunting trip, and they pulled him off of his plane, took him into the security section. This was like right after 9/11 too. It was like a year or so after 9/11. And they did a full strip search, finger in the ass and everything, because like apparently one of the ladies who checked the bag thought that he had ammunition in the same gun case as the gun. And lo and behold, they went to open the bag and there was no ammo in the bag, just like he said. And he was so pissed about it, and oh God.
I remember the madness around 9/11 when, I think we were flying home from Disney World. I think my family, parents and my grandmother, they stopped in searched my grandmother really hardcore because they found some makeup and they were accusing it of being anthrax. It's like, oh yes, my grandmother's going to, kill you all with anthrax. It's let me tell you.
Professional useless people. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Sadly, I know one, I think, but in real life, talks about how important his job is and everything. I'm going, okay.
Yeah. What is it anyway? It's like the average American only does like 2.5, 3 hours of work a day anyway. Like almost everyone's job is completely, make work useless. So
yeah,
pretty much.
I think I heard that somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where, but I do remember hearing that statistic, and I could believe that. I mean, love my job to death, but I could believe that anyway.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, like, is anyone like really trying to work like super hard in like corporate America at this point? Like everyone's just trying to do, the absolute bare minimum, give me my paycheck and leave. I mean, like, I'm basically like that in my job. I mean, I'm a trades guy, I mean, like I enjoy it because I'm not like clock watching every day, but still at the same time, it's like, we really want you to take on like this extra job at the shop. It's like, are you going to pay me more? No, then don't ask me to fucking do it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I've never liked that idea. It's like, if you're not going to pay me more for doing more work or doing something that somebody else could be hired to do, then, don't make me do it.
Yeah. It's like, well, we really want to see you take initiative at this job, and and then maybe you'll climb up, and one of these days you'll be in charge of an account. Yeah, exactly.
All that kind of talk. Yeah, I've heard a lot of that before. And like my job now, I love it to death. I mean, all my coworkers are awesome. It's an easy job, and it's a lot of lab and data stuff and things like that. But and we get off, like I've said it before to you, Red Hawk, like getting off at 1:30 instead of 3 when we start at 7 and we still get paid for 8 hours is pretty sweet. So it's a nice deal whenever that happens. But then I remember when I first started, they're like, I don't know if there's going to be any room for an advancement or anything like that. Because I mean, when I look at it, nobody's retiring anytime soon from there. So my coworker, who's the lab manager, has been there for a decade now, and I'm going, yeah, I'm not going to get anywhere with that. I mean, but it's a comfortable job. But I mean, could I make more? Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, I know. It's like, I like the idea of moving up or learning more stuff, but I need to, like you said, I would need to make more or be more meaningful, I guess, make it more meaningful for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like it is the age of the employee, man. Just because like nobody wants to work, it's like, listen here, you are not giving me added, ridiculous. You're not giving me added jobs, unless you're gonna fucking pay me. It's like, you guys absolutely need me more than I need you. This is not up for discussion.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
like, but we're offering this really cool, happy hour drinks with everyone in the office. It's like,
Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Probably costs you less to do that happy hour than it is to pay everybody more.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we got all these really cool accolades and stuff like this. Like that. You guys ever seen these videos on Twitter of like a chick, like a day in the life of a Twitter exec? It's like a complete fucking make work useless job. And they get paid like $100,000 a year. They got like a ball pit in their office, and like a greenhouse or some other stupid thing.
My God.
Exactly.
Yes, that's exactly how I pictured a job at Twitter too.
I do have to laugh that one of the funniest memes to come out of the whole Elon thing. It was like the first panel of the meme. It was like before Elon took over. It was a bunch of like chicks in like the picture, and then after Elon took over, it was a bunch of like
Indian dudes. Hello, I did program the Twitter.
English second language. Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh man, I knew a lot of those guys. Those are very fun. They're all into software engineering, always. So that's where they would go. They'd go to Twitter right there, work at Twitter, Google, all those other guys. At least with Elon's companies, what he does is, at least from what I've seen with a lot of SpaceX and Tesla, especially, they don't even need a college degree. They just have to have either some kind of experience or knowledge. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm always on the side, like looking out for like a better gig, because like, I'm a mercenary. That's my job,
Yep.
And it's hilarious when you're watching like some of these, you go on like Indeed or ZipRecruiter or something and just look at the, credentials required for some of these like ridiculous jobs. And it's like, are you shitting me? And it's like 4 years in desired field plus 2 years of experience afterwards. It's like, are you out of your mind? No wonder you can't find this job. Job posted for 326 days or whatever the fuck it is. I'm like, yeah, shocker.
10 years of education plus 10 years of experience to make $65,000 a year. And, that basically, I think when I read things like 10 years plus 10 years, I go, oh, you want somebody a lot more older than like my age range. Okay. Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Because it's frustrating because I've looked on Indeed a lot too. Like I would even find some like NASA jobs. I was kind of fairly close to NASA. So I was like, I always thought it'd be cool to work something like that. But I'm just, some of them for even what sounds like really simple jobs, they require really high degrees. And I'm going, I've done that kind of work before. But then there was another one, like I've told Jack about this. There's another job I actually looked into that paid like 6 figures and didn't require a degree, just experience. And I was going, I don't understand their logic. And this is for Fed jobs too. This isn't contractors. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking you'd think they'd be consistent, but they're really not. And it's like that for a lot of jobs. Like you were saying, like it's a little insane.
Yeah. It's a clown world we're living in,
Gosh.
So
accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't stand that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just sit back and enjoy. Oh, you got your cat behind you, photobombing all of us.
Oh my gosh, I know. She's just sitting right there in the perfect spot. Like you're almost sitting on my record player. I hope you know that. Yeah, she's
pussy. Yeah,
exactly. I am no man, but yeah.
Oh, you took down your waifus from behind you. You had those there.
I was starting to hang them up, and then I'm like, you know what? No, I've had these lights right here, and they're just too much of a trouble to take down, and I like them too much, so they'll stay. The waifu posters are back in my room here. This is like the back of my dining area of my apartment. Actually, I just turned it into like this little command center over here, and I bought these lights on Black Friday. I've seen a lot of people use them, and then I bought them right after Rolo started putting them in his live streams, and that was not meant to be like that was total coincidence. I was like, oh, bought the wood ones. See, I got the colored ones, but
yeah, he's got a cool studio right now.
Yeah,
I like the black paneling with the red lights. Yeah, it looks pretty neat.
Yeah, I like that a lot. But nice clear camera too and everything. But my stuff's at least slowly but surely upgrading. You were talking earlier about having a Yeti Blue microphone. I have that too. Funny enough.
Yeah. I just messaged Cappy and I was like, listen here, like, yeah, you've been doing this, for what, like 10 years now plus at this. Yeah, it's a little like the exact same thing that I got in front of me right now. But yeah, and I was just like, okay, what do you use? He's like, oh, just get one of these. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. Done and done.
This was like, I hate going to Walmart, but I actually found this little thing at Walmart and I was going, it was about 3 or 4 years ago and I've had it and never got around to using it as much as I wanted to. And this stuff like this gives me an excuse to, which is really good. And it's still serving me well, works really well. And then the cam here, I just bought that, a couple weeks ago so I could do our streams and stuff and look a lot better than the laptop one. So it's a nice little setup, but it'll get better with time and better as I improve. And like if I move into a house and get a nice big space, then I can make it even more creative if I wanted to. But right now it's a good cozy space.
Yeah. That'll be cool, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally.
Yeah. So, so kind of piggybacking off of what we were talking about on Thursday Megatron, with all this nerd stuff going down and everything like this, did you see? I think it might have been Alex that actually tweeted this out or something. It was like a bingo sheet of like all the movies that were coming out this year, like to be excited about or something like that. I'm just looking at it like, wow, all these could be absolutely terrible.
I don't know if I saw a bingo sheet, but I definitely saw a picture of all the movies coming out, and it would tell you what's an original, what's a reboot, and what's a sequel. And there's 2 originals. And most of them are all sequels, and then a couple reboots here and there. And I'm going.
The best part about this conversation right now is your cat cleaning himself or herself in the background.
Yeah, that's what he was just saying when you were
like, look at these guys. Look at these things. Fucking.
Like awesome. If you look right here, there's my record player right there. She's practically almost sitting on it, and I'm like, don't touch my good stuff over there. But I hate
That's outstanding. I love it.
Well, it's
Yeah.
always nice to have a wet pussy in view. So, you know.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Too bad it'd be if I spray her. Right? No, I'm just kidding.
But go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. The movies you were saying.
Oh
that
no,
the,
it's all right. It's all right. She's just comic relief. But
Yeah,
her name,
like,
is Eowyn, by the way. So you know,
Oh, nice
I know
name.
y'all would understand that reference. But
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, I mean, that's all the movies I was talking about that are all sequels aren't even half of them anyway on that list. Like if you look at all the horror movies coming out, those are almost all sequels too, not the ones they listed on there. I was like, golly, there's not much original idea out there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess the only thing that's even like remotely on my radar. I mean, I'll go watch the John Wick again, you know, because it's just a good shoot 'em up, you know, action movie that'll keep you entertained.
it's It's like watching pulp. It's just nonstop action.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dialogue is terse and punchy.
yeah.
man.
It's nice though because they just don't make movies like that anymore. Just senseless actions, violence, blood, you know, cheesy
That's all we want.
one-liners.
That's all we
Yeah,
want, really, yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah, see I miss that kind of stuff. You don't see it very often. I was very impressed with Nobody. That was a fun one. I had fun watching.
I
that.
saw clips of that.
That was much better than I thought. I was like, you're going to get Saul Goodman to play an action movie star. And then I watch it and I go, okay, it works. It really works.
And then they got Dune coming out this year too.
See, I haven't touched on Dune yet. The first one, I think it was even my mom that said you should see it. You'd like it. I'm like, really? Okay, I'll give it a shot at some point. But yeah, I hadn't touched on that one yet, and I do need a good lengthy sci-fi. Last one that I saw that I liked was Blade Runner.
I didn't see. I haven't been to the movies and oh fuck. I have no idea. I can't even tell. It's been that long.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I threw out my TV over a year ago. I just
I've thought about that. Like I really do like my PS4, but all I ever use it for these days is just YouTube and like 90% of the time, maybe 5% I use my VR, 5% I actually play games. And I thought about that. I was like, yeah, there's not much on TV that's enjoyable these days. Heck, I started thinking about how even shows throughout my lifespan, 20 years ago, shows are obnoxiously political and just, not my thing really.
Television and movies from the 80s backwards is your best bet to go back and watch. There's a shit ton of stuff you can watch when the 30 like 32 33 on up to about 1978 80.
Yeah,
great action, detective, all kinds of great shit. Yeah,
that's good to know. I do like good mysteries and stuff like that. I mean, even old horror movies are enjoyable. I really like, the Christopher Lee movies. Anything with him in it, he's my favorite.
All the Hammer horror flicks.
Yeah,
fantastic. Like each monster, like Frankenstein's monster, and then the vampires and the werewolf, they all have about 5 or 6 different movies attached to them with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing are invariably in them.
Yeah,
so cool.
I only saw for the first time I saw House on Haunted Hill recently with Vincent Price. I loved that. I was like
the skeletons and shit. Yeah, it's so cool. Everybody gets a gun.
The ending twists and everything. I was going, what is this? A Saw movie? Like you got your twist at the very end, and everybody's just like, I was sitting there going, "Whoa, wait, what? Oh, that was cool."
There was an amazing dignity and gravitas to those actors back then.
Yeah,
it's like basically like everything Christopher Lee does, man, is so good. I mean, like the Wicker Man, like that's
the Wicker Man. Yep.
Yeah, really good stuff in there.
That guy could do no wrong. I always say
pretty
that.
much.
I mean, the dude wrote Christmas metal albums, and I enjoy listening to him on Christmas.
Yeah. I was a professional fencer too, I mean, like,
he sang. He was an opera singer.
And he was, I think, the only one on the Lord of the Rings cast to have actually met Tolkien.
Yeah, he did do that.
So cool.
He was saying that, yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. And then
I think the only one that knew actually knew how somebody would die when you killed him, because he was the only one with experience to actually do that.
Yeah,
the backstabbing story. Yeah,
the one tongue story.
Like, this is how people sound when they get stabbed.
They actually draw breath in. It's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, even the the shitty movies that he was in, like The Man with the Golden Gun, like one of the worst Bond flicks. But
yeah,
but he did a good job with that role.
I love that. I love bad movies that still have really good actors or good roles in them, and it wasn't really their fault. So they provide the best parts of those movies.
Yeah, they hold it up. Yeah,
they
buttress the entire thing.
Yeah,
Keep it from completely tanking.
Yeah, Ryan and I were talking about what is Arnold Schwarzenegger's best movie on Twitter recently. Man, there's a lot of good ones. I mean, Predator, T2, Conan. The man is so good.
Yeah. Man, what was I say? What was a movie? I always say this, a movie that I unironically love, despite how bad it probably actually is in retrospect, but the Street Fighter movie from '94.
Never saw that.
Really? Yeah, that one's got Jean-Claude Van Damme playing the American soldier Guile, and the guy the one that steals the role the most is the villain M. Bison, played by Raul Julia, and he's very Shakespearean in his role. So everybody that even trashes on the movie goes, he's like the best part of that movie. But everybody plays their own roles really well in it, and like there's one guy who's usually a horror movie actor, Andrew Benarski is his name, and I actually met him and had him sign my movie, and he was looking at it and he's like, "You don't want me to sign Leatherface, you want me to sign Street Fighter?" And I went, "Yeah," and he was like, "That's awesome." And we talked about it for a little bit, and I met a couple actors from the movie now, had him sign the movie I have. It sits on my table over there, but it's a very fun 90s action movie too. That's another one that I enjoy. It doesn't hold back on anything, or it's unapologetically dumb, and that's why it's fun. And I enjoy stuff like that. And I like really bad, dumb B movies or less than that.
Yeah, it's kind of getting sad though, because a lot of these guys are starting to drop. Like I'm just dreading. I mean, we lost Connery a couple of years ago. That really sucked. And then I'm just dreading the day when I wake up and just look at my phone, like Clint Eastwood died peacefully in his sleep, last night. Like, oh shit. I rewatched Unforgiven recently, and oh man, is that such a good Western movie, man. It is perfect. Yeah. Oh
man, I'm gonna have to see that. I haven't seen that.
Deserves got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you just killed an unarmed man. Well, he should have armed himself.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's just such like it's such a deadpan delivery too, in that scene.
Man, I'm gonna look for. I'm definitely looking for that. I'm gonna
a sign at Greeley's. He's all fucking pissed.
He's always looking like, yeah,
but we just don't get shit like that anymore. It's just all Marvel movies, that nobody.
Gran Torino was good too.
That was good. That was
good.
Really good. Yeah.
That was
fantastic. Talking about that with my chick earlier before I got on here. We were talking about Marvel movies because they advertised the third Ant-Man movie, and I looked at her and said, I am so marveled out now. Like
nobody cares anymore.
Yeah,
Phase 3 Endgame was a good ending, and then the other Spider-Man movies, at least the No Way Home, was really good. I enjoyed the heck out of it, but I didn't watch anything else. And no, I take that back. I watched Thor 4, and that was where I just drew the line. I said, no, I can't. That was the first time I watched that and went, I didn't like it. Like, I had no desire to see Black Panther 2. I have so many things I could say about that movie, so many complaints, and that's
racist.
Yeah, I know.
Good.
Yes, especially I could say it's such a highly advanced technological civilization, but number one, they won't share it with anybody else, and yet we're the terrible people. And number two, they do all that, but yet to find out who's their next leader, they got to fight each other by a waterfall with, everybody
highly advanced. Ass.
Yeah,
they're still comporting themselves in loincloths. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not going to share it with at least their neighbors in Africa that are living on farms and still having to rely on their primitive technology. Like, okay, that's just people want to say they're the good guys. I go, no, that's
the most ridiculous part about that movie was the fact that there were people treating it like it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want their real life
Okay.
Wakanda, and I remember. So before even Black Panther came out, I do remember on on Tumblr of all sites. Of course, we'll hear this, but they would always say like Africa could have been what it could have been, this the most advanced technologically, superpower in the entire world, and so they've always fantasized about that, and then they put it into Wakanda, or for Black Panther here in the movie. And then they do it at the end of, or one of the endings for a Mortal Kombat character here, almost the same exact
I
time.
remember that.
Yeah, Jax's ending. I was like,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I got to change the future. I made it to where our people. I'm like, what?
It's kind of funny how they had to make like a fictitious element in order to make this thing come about.
Seriously,
It's
like,
so fucking stupid.
it is like. And then everybody wants to look at, what is it, Michael B. Jordan's character. He was the hero. It's like, oh, that guy was kind of genocidal too, and he just kind of usurped the throne that he feels belongs to him. And I'm just going, this is the bad guy, people. He's not even charming enough to be the good guy. I'm sorry. But there were a couple elements I enjoyed of it, I guess, but it's just I could find that in anything, though.
It's just all the stupid fucking politics that's just injected into literally everything, and
that's what bugged me.
It's just so infuriating.
Like, I enjoyed elements of the Loki show, which had some stupidity in it, but I like that character. Tom Hiddleston does a good job. He's not in the fourth Thor movie, so something feels empty without him there too. I think that's the other thing. And
yeah, I just go back to watching old stuff at this point. If I'm hankering to watch something, like I don't know, just sit down and watch Seinfeld. Like one of my girls hadn't seen episodes of Seinfeld before. I'm like, okay, we'll just throw this on. It's on Netflix. It's funny. There's like no like stupid politics in it at all, and it's just something you could have on in the background while you're fondling each other on the fucking couch. But
yeah, I've even my favorite show has always been 24, even though there's a lot of politics in it and stuff. It's a little more middle ground. Like you can at least, have both sides of the aisle agree on certain things to a degree in the show. And it had really good action, had really good twists. And my grandmother was the one that actually got me into it. So I always have a good attachment to that show because of that. And I bet if she were to watch it now, she'd probably enjoy it just as much. But that was a good 8-season friggin' show. No, 9 seasons, I think. 9 seasons. Not counting the reboot. I thought about picking that back up. Prison Break was good. I even started watching stupid drama shows like Nip Tuck, actually. Again, I watched that when I was younger, and it's dumb drama, but it still has that element of fun to it, where it's doesn't take itself seriously. And like I said, I like stuff like that. It feels like stuff these days when it injects political views, it takes itself way too seriously.
And it's not even a comedy. They're trying to be straight-faced about it.
Mm-hmm. They're just like, this is how it is. Wait, you don't like it? What? What are you? Some kind of istophobe?
Yeah, istophobe.
Yeah.
So, that honestly is, exactly. That's one of my absolute favorite memes. Like one of the captions, it's a Dragon Ball Z meme, and like the guy is blocking the fist of the other guy. He's like, that's racist. I know.
Man.
I know.
I think that's going to stop you. Like you're going to be shamed or guilted. Like, fuck you, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sticks and stones.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, my opinion is radically going to get changed by some asshole on the internet that I have no idea who you are, trying to shame me for something. It's like, shut up, man. That's what I get all the time when I'm fighting with like trads on Twitter. It's like, fornicator, degenerate. It's like, okay.
That's a wonderful topic right here altogether. Like, oh my gosh. I've always been, I've always been Christian my entire life, not apologetic about it or anything like that. And I've always had an element of traditionalism, but I think we've talked about this before. Like the traditional extremes that they go to these days are exhausting. Like it's a bit much. And I know we can't really return with a V or whatever, like, a lot of them would want to do. And part of it, he says, that's a shame, but also part of me accepts it. Part of me, I like the Clary-esque idea of enjoy the decline. And I love that to many aspects of my life now. Sad to say, but you kind of have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just a healthy it's a very healthy detachment of what you can and cannot control, in this world. And are you going to stress about, all these kinds of things, or are you just going to go out and succeed? Because there's still plenty of ways to succeed in this world, and in some cases better than it was in the past. I mean, like we pretty much none of us have to worry about food, which is pretty nice. Like the first time ever in human history, you literally just don't have to worry about food.
There's a lot of things we don't have to worry about.
Yeah. And then people just have to manufacture things, they have to bitch about and everything like this.
Yeah, I always say people look for shit to be bothered about.
Yeah.
They really
exactly. Have you ever gotten like a shit ton of flack on Twitter, Vince, for your shenanigans that you get up to with the woman, or you just literally not give a shit, just block very liberally?
Strangely enough, no, but not strangely. It's weird. Who's going to complain about, for the most part, what I do with that? I mean, when you think about it, like if a guy's going to complain about that, well, you're gay. You're gay. I've had one woman drop into my DMs, a Christian woman, an artist. I'm not going to say her name, and she's like, "Oh, you should be concerned." I'm going to use this is the voice I had in my head when I was reading. You should be concerned about, the pornographic stuff you're showing on here for young men. And you know what my answer was?
Fuck you.
Silence.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I don't, for the most part, and fundamentally, I don't engage with women on social media. To quote and God rest his soul, the late Roger Currie, no free attention. Not doing it. Now there are a few. There's some that I have business dealings with, legitimate, that I will talk to or make a comment and whatever. But for the most part, ladies, no. If I'm not fucking you, no. Mm-hmm. Now that may be harsh. That may be sexist, and yes, I don't care. I don't have time. You're not because attention for women is different. We all know men and women are different. We like to mouth that, but most guys don't get the fact that this is. I'm trying to think of what it would be like for men. They're almost like a psychic vampire when it comes to attention. They need to feed. Mm-hmm. They need because
it's like a currency. I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, men. Exactly, men, because we have a fucking dick. We thrust out into the world, right? We fuck the world. We fuck everything. Okay.
Yep.
We're biologically designed to thrust outward. Women have a hole. And 3 really, but let's go with the main one.
Yeah.
The repository for our seed, or to receive our thrust.
The gate.
Don't worry about morals or what's right and what's wrong. Just realize that biologically. So there's a psychological mechanism that comes along with that. Women want that attention from men because that's how they feel. It's like something Zan Perion said when he was regarding he was talking about questions about what do men and women want. It's like it's really simple. For men want to be able to know that they can walk into any situation, walk into the room, and fundamentally know they can get the job done. They have what it takes. Okay, that's what we want fundamentally. Women are little girls twirling around in their dress saying, "Daddy, daddy, look at me." Mm-hmm. Once you realize those 2 base things, everything else will fall into place. Everything else will fall into place. And when you look at every woman, I don't care if she's a high-powered CEO or she's washing dishes in a diner, every woman wants the daddy, daddy, look at me. I don't care if you're lesbian or not. You still want your daddy to say, "Look at me." Look at me, daddy. Doesn't matter. But that is what women want. They want that attention from us. Whether for us, that kind of attention that we give to women is, it's, I wouldn't say it's special, but there's something about it that we need to judiciously give out.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And
Yeah,
I just don't throw that out to women on social media, whether that's Instagram or
it just goes back to, like, something given has no value, Starship Troopers. It's like, if you're giving out your attention all the time to this chick, then your attention isn't worth anything. So it's just simple as that.
Yeah, not to mention talking to a lot of chicks online over time. I heard this somewhere too, and I really have stuck with it, is that if you're not actually physically in their presence, they're nothing more than an imaginary friend anyway.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's 100%
it's nothing
true.
but they're just pixels on a screen. And I mean, with the one girl that I know that I went out of my way to go see, this was years ago. It was worth it, but it was still frustrating the time it took to build up to that. Whenever, it's like I wanted her then and there, like right now. I hated having to wait or having to go see her. And looking back on it, I would tell myself, why are you waiting on that when you have other options right there, literally almost in front of you?
It just goes back to, it's just so true. They just aren't like us, and it's so important to, drill that into every sense of the word.
In every sense of the word.
Yeah, they're not like us.
Right.
They will just completely sap other people's energy without using any resources for it. Just like they just feed off of the attention. They will text you for like weeks at a time with no intention of actually seeing you. And that's just the boundary you have to set for yourself. Speaking a lot from experience here.
I usually, when I get my girls, I put them in check very quickly as far as texting. They know. So if I get a wall of text, and for me, a wall of text is 5 or 6 lines, or like get questions, I'll ignore everything up to maybe the last question, and then I'll answer it 1 or 2 words, and that's it. You could the act of her writing the text to you she's blown her load. She's done. She doesn't care. You could say anything at that point. You could respond with pretty much fucking anything. It doesn't even matter.
Yep.
So I answer the last question, yes, no, just very, very, very short answers. That's worked for me. That's the boundary that I set.
Yeah, so it's not over explaining yourself or anything like that. Which
exactly.
And yeah.
I pretty much don't explain anything.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds counterintuitive, but I really don't.
It really works, though. I've learned that over time. I used to be
absolutely
very apologetic or like try to explain everything. From a guy's perspective, that's how we want to fix the problem, is we want to, present the problem, show how we think we should fix it, and then try to fix it. But with them, it's really just as simple as, like you said, 1 or 2 word answer, and it's done. If even that. Like, I mean, there's been instances, like earlier this week, I had an instance with a girl like that who she said, hey, let's meet up tomorrow. And I was like, all right, sounds good. And then she said, I wanted to meet up today, but I've just got some plans with my mom or something. Fine, and then later in the day, I just decided, I'm going to take a nap. I'm tired from work. I take a nap. I would wake up to find like you said, a wall of text from her going, actually, I can do today. Are you going to ignore me? Oh, wait, you're ignoring me. I guess you're going to blow me off. Thanks. And I thought it wasn't worth replying. It's not worth my energy. I think it was Mish that I posted about it kind of indirectly on Twitter just because I thought it was a funny story, but wanted it to be for more everybody than just about me. And Mish said, you just screenshot the part where she said Thursday and then send it to her. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll wait a couple days and then do it. Just wait. It's past Thursday now, so wait till like Sunday and then do it. Terrible with little manipulation games like that.
Honestly, it really is like one of the best things you can ever learn. Just add the sentence to whatever your girl's doing with the sentence right now. She's like, she's angry. Well, right now. She wants to see you. Well, right now.
Now.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? That really is just like the best advice you're ever going to get is, again, they're not like us. You know?
Yeah.
Nope.
My main girl, I told her, she's like, I basically said to her, like, when you talk, this is what I hear. Wah, 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 wah. I don't care. I care, but I don't.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I do that with every girl. I care, but I don't.
Yeah. They just want to be heard. They just want, just.
But you have to set a
nod
boundary
your
on
head.
that.
You don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
be the emotional
Just to be
tampon,
honest.
right?
Oh yeah,
Well, no,
absolutely.
if they want to go ahead and talk about work or something or some kind of drama, they get 30 minutes. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And sometimes
Very
those stories are funny. Like my main chick, she tells me all these stories about like, this dumb coworker she has that she just can't stand. And some of those stories are so dumb, I laugh. I admit I find them legit funny. But if it's just like, oh, this person here, this lady was a Karen or something, I'm just going, everybody's going to deal with that and just let her say it. But like you said, no more than 30 minutes, if that.
Yeah, you got to establish that quickly, especially when they, I'm going to tell my stories. It's like, get to the fucking point.
You know
like,
what's fun to do? You know what's fun to do? And I've done this before. In fact, I talked to on the show, or maybe it wasn't. Was it? I know it was the private Zoom I had, and I had traditional taboo on. I told her, I was like, one of the things I like to do is buy an old egg timer, and like this gets rotated 5 times. That's it, and then and it's almost like a game. Like they're gonna try, and they're looking, they're sweating, they're look at the So go out and get yourselves an egg timer.
Stress build, and you're just like, here you go. This is how much time you got.
So,
yeah, that's amazing.
That's
But like so many of these guys when they first come across this material, they like get in their heads like, oh, I can't beat this guy because they're gonna get a negative reaction from the chick. And spoiler alert, this is going to be a question I'm going to ask you on Thursday when we do our show, Vince. Is like, when we're talking about like the BDSM stuff at the start, or like guys just don't have the confidence to actually do this kind of stuff because they think like the women don't want it, or like aren't interested in it, and then like when the light bulb finally goes off for you, it's like that first time the chick is like, hit me, like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, we can definitely talk about that.
Yeah. Because I actually got into a spout about this. Well, actually, no, we'll talk about this on Thursday. We don't need to blow our loads right now for this.
Yeah, let's hold off. Let's hold off. It'll be good. Trust me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. How have the D&D streams been going recently? You guys having fun over there?
They're good. Yeah, they're fun. It's funny. Drew hasn't run his game in almost 2 months. He's been sick on and off. I think one of our last times he was supposed to run and canceled. He had bad lasagna or something and was thrown out some kind of stomach thing. So we bust on him for that. So your wife is trying to fucking poison you or some shit. I sent it on Twitter. I sent him a picture of a lasagna. I was like, hey Drew, paging Drew Bay. So his game. In fact, you know what? I'm thinking we were supposed to. I'm not sure if we're playing. I have to check the calendar because I had Paul Come On Man podcast scheduled, I think, for January. It might be this Wednesday. Now I'm thinking about it. So we may not be playing Rollo's game. I'll have to take a look and see if Paul's still up for it. If in fact that was scheduled for the 12th. But either way, the games are fun. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons on and off since 1982, 83. So
that's pretty cool. My uncle used to do that all the time when he was a young early 20s guy living with his mom, my grandmother. I know he'd stay up all night playing it, and it always intrigued me. I've always liked the idea of like fantasy, sci-fi stuff like that, tabletop stuff. I've never played it myself, but it is pretty fun watching y'all play it because it's kind of like watching a choose your own adventure book from afar.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
They're I don't go back and watch our stuff. But I do go back and I throw our D&D games on just to have them in the background while I'm puttering around the house.
Yeah. That's exactly what I like doing. Like I'll enjoy just doing something else, and I actually, I like the background noise, and it also gives me interesting information about the game and how it's played and everything like that. Because I know a lot of people have played it before, that and Shadowrun and things like that. So yeah. And I like Shadowrun. I like that
Shadowrun. I played Shadowrun when it came out when Faza had created that. It was with Faza.
Yeah.
Let's see. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Star Frontiers, BattleTech.
Yeah.
Not the video game. I never played the video games. The tabletop.
Yeah.
What else? The Iron Crown Enterprises put out Middle Earth role playing. I played that. Warhammer Fantasy I've played. That was okay. So yeah, there's just a small few of the ones.
Yeah.
I'm in a group with 5 other college friends. We play on Mondays, and we've been playing it since like the CUFA started. So basically, we're going on like 2.5 years now, and it's tons of fun.
Cool. You playing 5e?
Yeah. I'm playing a Blood Hunter right now, and I'm enjoying it. Basically, like Geralt of Rivia from the Witcher series. So I'm having fun with it.
Cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So great sword master with some mutagens and stuff, and basically I just run in and decapitate things and have very low charisma. So
that's nothing wrong with that. That's cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like hack and slash games. I like hack and slash games.
Yeah, I've always liked that about like games, just either whether it's tabletop or like adventure games like Skyrim or any of the Elder Scrolls games, anything like that where you just choose your own race, your job class, your skill set, whatever, personalities even that might affect certain stats. It's always been so interesting to me. I've always been like the Legolas type, the elven archer, maybe with a little bit of thievery involved or something, because I've always had fun with that. Almost like a rogue, but I guess more a thief with archer skills, like I said. But and then I didn't know about Legolas at that point whenever I was as a kid, and then I saw him, I said, that's me,
Yeah. Did you see they're coming out with it's an animated movie of Lord of the Rings, but it's like Éomer and the Rohirrim.
That one actually sounds good. That one I might be willing to see.
What production company is doing that?
Is that
I have to look it back up?
Let me see, because I know, was that the anime one? There was one that's supposed to Let's see, Lord of the Rings anime, and it is.
Yeah, I remember reading about it. None of the Rings of Power horseshit.
Sola Entertainment.
Oh, okay.
Produced by New Line Cinema and Warner
New Line
Bros.
Cinema.
Oh, yeah, those are the
Jackson's
same guys.
deal.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. At least
when's that coming out?
That is coming out.
I think it's sometime this year.
I think so too. Yeah. Next year, April 12th next year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's not that far away.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. No. Said 183 years before the Two Towers. Well, that's kind of specific. I mean, 180, whatever. But Helm pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow! Also starring Miranda Otto reprising her role as Éowyn from the.
Oh,
that's cool.
What are they? You said anime. What are they? Are they rotoscoping this stuff in?
That's what I'm wondering too. If it's going to be like the old cartoon,
Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I liked that rendition of The Hobbit. I mean, it was better than the Peter Jackson trilogy. So.
I've told Jack this too. I have a soft spot for The Hobbit for the cool parts in it, but there are those absolute cringe parts that I can't stand. Like I can't not find why did his name escape my head? Legolas's father. Thranduil.
Thranduil.
I can't not find him cool. Like just all his scenes, I was like, that's
yeah.
It's cool.
They just had to inject the woman in there, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
gosh.
It's funny.
Well,
though,
that's why I originally hated Fellowship of the Ring when I first saw it. I'm like, really?
Oh yeah, Arwen. Yeah, it takes Glorfindel's place. Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
It would be kind of interesting to like poke like Tolkien's brain about like the Peter Jackson movies and see what he's
rolling in his grave right now. I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely some power stuff. But I mean, as much as we have issues with the Peter Jackson trilogy, I mean, we are so lucky they got made when they got made.
Oh yeah, it grew on me. Yeah.
I was about to say that same thing because I thought, if they thought about rebooting that, that a lot of people would find that way too sacrilegious. I think like that would be they're talking about doing that with the Harry Potter movies, and I feel like that's bad enough.
Yeah, well,
what's
that's a shitty RP anyway. So
like at least I want to say at least Harry Potter back then had its enjoyable elements as well and good character development, but with the way it's being they're wanting it to be politicized, but I will say I like how Rowling's actually kind of sticking it back at him and saying, no, that's not how it is. Or,
Yeah. I mean,
it's enjoyable watching her do that.
Drew, I would object a little bit on the character development stuff because, like, you could just tell that Harry Potter was written by a woman because the main character doesn't have to like do anything. He's the chosen one. Already has all of his powers right away.
That's a good point. That is a very good point. My character focus was always more on like the background ones. Like Snape was my favorite. I also liked Lucius, Draco's dad. I was always like, the Death Eaters were interesting to me. The bad guys are always cool to me, though, no matter what. Star Wars, the dark side. I mean, if you could see my wall right now, it's all dark side posters and Funko Pops or whatever. But it's, I've always thought they're like, it's interesting to watch how they develop, even if they can be absolutely evil villains or they can be redeemable ones. But I'm admittedly tired of the redeemable villains these days. But, but other than that, yeah, like you said, Harry's kind of a basic and very simplistic hero, I guess. Hermione was kind of annoying, and I really liked how Snape called her an insufferable know-it-all. That's my favorite line. But yeah, and Ron too, and everything. But like I said, the background characters are cool. I would have been more interested in finding out about them more, but I'm just afraid to see. I'm almost wanting to see what they would do with a reboot if they decide to go through with it, but I don't think they would. I don't think they'd have the balls to do it.
I guess the only reason I would like rewatch them is just to see Alan Rickman because he's just so good in like everything he does.
That's probably half of the reason why I like the character so much. And actually, it got me into reading the books, and the books explain a lot more than the movies do. And I don't know if y'all read the books or anything. But,
no, I didn't read them.
The books are very much more in depth. And I remember when the 6th one came out, which is the second to last book. The Half-Blood Prince, when that came out, and everybody saw that Snape had killed Dumbledore. I know, spoiler alerts, that was such a,
oh no.
Everybody's like, oh no, he's so bad. And I said, you know what? I bet he did it for some reason. Everybody's like, no, he's just evil. And then a year later it came out and everybody read the Deathly Hallows, and I was right. I said, that was one of my most in your face moments when it came to fan fiction and all that other stuff. He's a great actor. I always get reminded of how great he is because every December you have to watch Die Hard, which was his first movie. Funny enough.
He was crazy. He was good as the sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood.
Yeah, I think another underrated performance. Mr. Marston in Quigley Down Under. I don't know if you guys ever saw that Western.
Strangely enough, I have not. I know of it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it stars Tom Selleck.
Okay, yeah, Tom Selleck.
Yeah. It's actually pretty good. You could tell it was kind of like an Australian like version of woke. Because like the movie addresses like Aborigines and stuff like that. So they kind of do like a noble savage kind of stuff. But to be honest, Selleck does such a good job with the role, and so does kind of Rickman. He does a good job with his role as well. So it's definitely watchable. And funny enough, I was reading somewhere that the military actually adopted one of the terms from that movie into military jargon for snipers. Because one of the things in the movie is that
cool.
Tom Selleck's character, his name is Quigley, and in the movie, he takes like a long shot with his legendary Sharps rifle, and it's like a 300-yard shot, and he kills 2 guys with 1 bullet. And the U.S. Sniper Corps ended up adopting that, saying if you kill 2 guys with 1 bullet, it's called a Quigley. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Very cool.
So, but yeah,
wow.
If you guys are looking to watch a Western, go watch that one. Kind of like an underrated one.
I'll have to go check that out. Thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah, definitely. And I have not seen Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and now I'm going to have to because
Alan Rickman is great as the sheriff of Nottingham in that.
Yeah, that's what I was just reading. I was like,
and keep the stitches small. Awesome.
Sean Connery as King Richard. Dang, they got an interesting. Michael McShane. Oh, nice.
Yeah, they just have
That's
such
not bad.
Yeah, actors back in the day just used to have like so much more like not only gravitas but also I guess you could say much more effort into the craft. Like all these like thespians.
Well, it seemed like they
professional
cared.
training.
They seemed like they cared. Yeah.
There's a little more work put in, at least. Even in the in the 90s, things like that. Like y'all know I hadn't seen the movie Falling Down until about 2 years ago. and that's become one of my favorite movies just because I was like, Michael Douglas was fun to watch in that. And I don't think I've ever, I don't know, I didn't get to watch a lot of movies when I was growing up. So, you know, I've been doing a lot of catching up, and that was a fun one. I remember someone I know, they're like, yeah, that's a really good one. Check that out. I was like, all right, I will.
Oh,
Actually, it was
so-
somebody online. It might have been Drinker. It was a Critical Drinker, I think, that said it was good. And I was like, all right, fine. I'm going to sit down and watch this.
Yeah, he puts out great work. No, I count myself very lucky that my dad was pretty cool and showed me a lot of like these really awesome, you know, like movies and stuff when I was a kid. You know,
Yeah.
maybe some of them weren't the best decisions. Like he showed me Jaws when I was 5, and I wouldn't get in
Nice.
the pool, you know, afterwards for a while.
That movie traumatized everyone. Even the people that didn't swim were like, "Whoa, wait a minute."
I was the same way. I was 5 when Jurassic Park came out, and I think my parents took me to see that in the theaters, and that might have been
hang on a second. Wait. How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
Oh, 34.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah,
Red, how
yeah.
old are you?
I'm 28.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
I'm the
no,
old
I
bastard
know.
on this.
Yep,
I was a
here.
nice- I was a
Get off my goddamn internet lawn.
Get
Yeah,
off my-
Coming out with your M14.
Back in my day, in
Back in my
1993.
day.
Back in my day in 1993. Yes, let me tell you.
Jesus. I was born in 70, motherfuckers. Holy fuck.
Yeah, but I did enjoy. I remember, like, I think it scared me as a kid, but it was all the loud noises and stuff, and I don't remember. But that might have been why I became very sheltered from movies for a while too. But
I was the
I remember-
total opposite when I got showed Jurassic Park when I was a little kid. I got obsessed with it, and I'm still
Oh my
like
God.
autistic about dinosaurs. Like to this
Same
day.
here. That was the big thing too, though, is even though I was supposedly scared of that movie, the dinosaurs amazed me so much that I'd done so much research on them back then that's information that still sticks in my head to this day. And it's like, I know some of it's outdated and they've discovered a lot of new things and things like that, but it's still really cool to me even now. Like, I'll read about stuff. Like, I think y'all might have seen my post about the T-Rex having a smaller brain, but very condensed, very complex, to where they would have had the potential to basically build a civilization as what they were, you know, for what they were, what they could do. I was like, that's really cool.
Still can't jerk off.
No, still can't do that. No, they gotta find a mate. So, you know, but yeah, I remember my mom had posted pictures from the science museum earlier. And
Yeah, I saw you posting that earlier
Yeah,
today. That's cool.
the T-Rex or whatever. It's like I'd already been there like several months ago, but I saw she posted that. I was like, that's a nice picture. I'm sharing that. But she took a picture of a Dimetrodon too, and I was like, that's a Dimetrodon. And I was like, wait, how do I still remember that? You know, I'll be walking around with my main chick, with Library Chick, as I call her, and I'll be walking around and I'll just point out a dinosaur and I'll be like, that's this or that, and she'll just look at me and kind of bat her eyelashes. I'll be like,
I do the same shit, man. Yeah.
She loves it when I geek out. That's the funniest thing. She says, you don't nerd out very often, but the moment you do, it was, you know, she's like, she's like, it's adorable. And I go, all right, that's cool. I get it. You like that I have knowledge in things and I spread it.
Well, you're demonstrating competence.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
thing. I think she likes that, because there was a moment we went to a reptile convention. We don't, like, she doesn't do reptiles or creepy crawlies or anything, but I used to own a Goliath bird eater tarantula, you know, the biggest tarantula or whatever the thing was, that gets like
Gasoline in a match.
and
Don't
so
throw that
they
to
had, like,
Jack.
they had little
That's
baby
right.
ones for sale, and there was this lady that was talking to him to her son. She's like, we should buy one for your dad, he hates spiders or something. And then I looked at her, and then, you know, my girl's standing there and she's looking at me, and she's like, don't do it. And I said, I'm going to recommend it. And so I looked at the lady and said, I would recommend it. You know, you don't have to do too much to it. They live, you know, if they're female.
You
they live
ass.
up to- yeah.
You're a
I said,
dick.
and the mom's looking at me going, oh, this is such a good idea. And she goes, and she goes, how long do they live? I said, if it's a female, about 20 years. And like, she's standing off in the back watching, you know, we just like sell this spider for the lady at the table, basically. And yeah, like you said, it's like a display of confidence. It's kind of fun to, you know, be able to just have that kind of knowledge still stick in your head. Because
Right.
I do a lot of research on things, but if I'm not really passionately into it, I'm not going to remember any of it, to be honest.
You know, I can kind of piggyback off yours a bit. I used to keep I had boa constrictors.
Yeah.
I had when I was in college.
They're fun.
And yeah, named Legs. Funny enough, you know. But
That's awesome.
Well done.
yeah, but yeah, you know, I've always had you know, a soft spot for snakes, as it were.
Snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm the
I'll
same
let
way
you know.
with turtles. My very first pet was a snapping turtle, and that thing was so hardcore to me. I loved having that thing. Like I always told myself,
Those
if I get a
fuckers
big
are
enough,
mean and they get big. How big did your
Yeah.
how big did your turtle get?
I mean, he was pretty big when he ended up catching something, dying. But like the alligator snapping turtle, that one would get, those will get like that
Huge
big,
fucking snouts and
shell wise,
shit, yeah.
and they can live over 100 years. So I mean, I've always been fascinated with those two, but the idea of keeping one of those is even harder. I see people on Facebook groups. I'm on an alligator snapping turtle page or something, and looking at their tanks. It's an awesome idea, but that's got to be expensive, dude. Like,
I'm sorry, that's funny.
yeah,
It's the internet. There's a group for everything, man.
oh my
Fucking
gosh,
awful.
there is. And it's even called alligator snapping turtles exclusively. So don't
That's
get them
awesome.
mixed up with the common ones now.
Right?
But yeah, so I mean, I've had some interesting critters though. Like I had that Goliath bird eater tarantula at the same time as having an emperor scorpion.
Wait,
and
did you
a
feed it
Vietnamese
birds?
Centipede. The what?
The Goliath spider bird thing. Did you feed it birds? What did it
No.
eat?
See, the interesting thing about him is that they got that name allegedly from the person that discovered it eating a bird, but they're not caught eating birds very often in the wild,
Really?
if at all. They actually eat they'll eat some big prey like toads, frogs, big critters and stuff like that, but they don't they're not caught finding birds very often. I don't know if it's a thing about catching them, but they're stupid fast, so I don't know. But like I would always just feed mine crickets and occasionally give it some like chicken or something like that, chicken meat. And it's really interesting because the only one that I have surviving out of those three I mentioned is the centipede. It's outlasted all the others. I caught COVID in 2021, and when I was in the hospital for it, like a little over a week, the scorpion and the tarantula decided to molt at that time, and they ended up drying out and thirsting, and I kind of felt really bad. So I came back and they were both dead. And so, but the centipede survived. He's still with me now. And, I can feed that thing chicken hearts and crickets, or I just gave him a chicken heart earlier. He eats the whole thing.
Damn.
Eats it whole. The funny thing is the tarantulas, they'll eat stuff from the inside out, just suck it out, just slurp out the innards, but they don't really eat the extra.
That's disgusting.
It's crazy. So yeah, if you feed it like a frozen mouse, yeah, you got to take the carcass out. Otherwise it'll.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore, pretty metal.
I remember seeing this YouTube video a couple of years ago. It was like a home video. You're looking up at the sky, and in the backdrop, there's some trees, but in the backdrop is these high power tension lines. It was somewhere in South America. And strewn in the high power tension lines were these just network of webs with these little dots. Okay, but wait for it. They zoom in. The little dots were not little dots. They were spiders. Like this,
As big as your head.
your fucking hand, your fucking head, and then just like thousands of them, like nuke it from orbit. I like how the
exactly.
fuck. So apparently they blow on the wind with their web hanging out like a trail, and they get caught in the power lines and they spin their web and they do their thing. Like I'm not fucking going down there.
Go zip lining or bungee jumping around there.
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
that.
That is one thing that will always freak out. Like any girl that I'm walking with, will go during the summer. Those banana spiders that are like they
down south, the banana spiders. Yeah. Oh my fucking god! There's huge webs from tree to tree.
Yeah, and their webs are really big. They like spread across. And I go, it's funny because sometimes I know how they are. They're actually generally pretty peaceful with people. They're not even deadly, like hardly dangerous to people, but they look evil, just straight up evil.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, they're vile.
I don't tell any girls about that. I'll just go, hey, look at that. So, oh my gosh, it's so fat. Get it away from me. And I just I'll blow on it or something to make it crawl.
Like that fat. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
yeah.
I remember I first saw that in 2001 down in Mississippi and Louisiana. Like, nah. Dude, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
They're monsters. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Napier. He loves the spiders. Yeah.
He hates. I mean, he loves spiders. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go visit Jack in April here. So that'll be cool. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah, one of my buddies is getting married in Paris, and let me rephrase: it's not him; it's the woman that mentioned getting married in Paris.
He's along for the ride.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all right, pal, go for it, man. I mean, I'll go over there, but if I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna make a trip out of it. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll go see my buddy Jack.
Might as well go out for a couple days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
you're obviously don't have to give away your exact location, but you're like in the Pennsylvania, Ohio kind of area or something.
yeah, the Great Lakes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if we had known that, we've extended an invitation to you when Jack came out here and Rob came out here in August.
Yeah.
We were in Philly.
Yeah, I saw that. You guys posted a lot of cool pictures and stuff like that. And
Those were
Jack,
so fun to see.
yeah, Jack was just talking about that trip actually on Thursday when the three of us are streaming, Governor.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That was a good
Talking
trip.
about the different parts of America that he could go see, and
Yeah, we were telling me, he's like, actually, you know what? I really liked Philly. I'm like, Jack, like you that was like 1% of our country that you saw. There's way more.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but I just from all the talk, like fat women are everywhere, blah blah blah. Well, yeah, but and no, it's like anything you'll hear online, whether it's who it's from. There's take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
When we do the Village by the Seas, when I get the houses on the beach in Ocean City, we always spend a day or two in Philly. And we've posted pictures, and Rob and I are just like kids in a candy store, especially in the summertime. The ladies take the twins for a walk, and you're going to get. Are there fat? Yes, there's fat, but the thin to svelte women far outweigh the fat chicks in Philadelphia. So
interesting.
That's cool.
That sounds better than Texas in a lot of ways, but golly, I've been exposed to several different states, and I mean, they don't lie when they say like Houston is probably one of the most obese cities in the country. But I got spoiled when I went to Florida. There were lots of pretty
hot girls everywhere in
Florida,
man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't. The only Texas city I've been to is San Antonio, and I loved it.
Yeah, San Antonio is great. Yeah, I actually was there about 6-ish months ago after I went camping on my way home, and just went to the Riverwalk and a couple other things. It was enjoyable over there. I hadn't been there in a while until then, but yeah, I've been pretty much all the major Texas cities, but I'd say the ones I like the most would be. I'm going to sound biased because my best friend moved up there, but Dallas would be probably, it's very clean, and it's like Houston, which is my zone close to where I am, but it's a lot less dense and traffic. And I hate to say, there's a lot of politics about Houston I don't like. They call themselves the most diverse city in the entire country. And I go, yeah, but we know what you mean by that and what you're trying to draw by saying that. So
yeah, diversity literally means anti-white.
Yes, exactly.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's so. Yeah, the other cities. I mean, even Austin. I mean, people say, "Oh, Austin's the California of Texas." I go, yeah.
Good. That means I'm gonna avoid it, or or eject it into the sun, preferably via catapult. Yeah.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
this shit is just spreading everywhere, man. It's so fucking infuriating.
It really is, and you have to choose between big cities or small towns sometimes, and you would think small towns have maybe more attractive I want to say traditional as tradcon, but like you'd think they'd have, but no, a lot of them in older towns like there's my best friend in the chat, by the way, right there talking about. And then there's Liberty. Yeah, that's the name of a very old town with a bunch of meth-headed people, and it's supposed to be like the third oldest or one of the oldest cities in Texas. It's disappointing. You can't win over here. But yeah. Anyway, that's just. Oh
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you always have to laugh how when you're going on the dating apps, like any chick that has conservative attached to her bio, I'm like, oh great, so she's not going to be attractive, and then you scroll down a little bit, and it's like, oh, yep, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I always enjoyed doing those litmus tests. I've been doing those for years with chicks on either dating apps or Tumblr, particularly. I've actually met a lot of girls on there, and and I have good memories, but a lot of them that called themselves conservatives were really not. Or anti-feminist was my favorite one. I go, let's run the test. Let's try, do you believe in this or that? Yeah, I do. Well, no, then you failed already,
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You see conservative and you think, oh, this might be a little more promising, but not really. I've actually found myself to have sometimes a better time with the feminist or more liberal women, not because I identify with their politics, but because at least it feels like they're more honest.
I mean, apolitical is still the best. If
yes, absolutely.
If you just get one that just isn't involved with it at all, it's just completely ignorant of it.
That would be preferable. Yes. Like if I had to choose between all of them, but yeah, that's
yeah. I've had experiences with like the really like right wing and conservative ones, like start adopting almost like red pill talking points kind of deal, like in their vocabulary. It's like, oh, like you're like a high value man, stuff like this. It's like, what the fuck is coming out of your mouth right now? Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
it is weird. They come with like a sense of like entitlement to them that is like almost way worse than like the feminists, and stuff like this. It's like, can you just fucking relax? Unbelievable.
Yeah, was it not Twitter recently that an adult film star was making former adult film star was making posts about what a high level man is or should be? And yeah, that was at least one that I saw. I know others do it too, but
yeah, you see that shit all the time. Like as much as we like clown on the like the masculinity accounts on Twitter, like the chicks that are like anti-feminists are even worse, man.
Yes they are, and it's disappointing to say, but yeah, it's true. Like, I mean, I can cringe at least sometimes at the masculinity accounts, and sometimes I'd follow them just for laughs or so I could repost something from them to laugh at it later, but they were predictable. At least with the anti-feminists, they're a little more unpredictable, and they're still predictable, but I guess in a different way. But
have you ever come across the community known as the Rad Femmes? Are you familiar with them?
Yeah, I actually dated one time too. She was not bad. She was actually not bad compared to others. We had an amicable breakup, and we still talked afterwards. She had a really cool history and everything like that, and I got to know her, and I should say over time she kind of morphed into the Rad Femme. She was already kind of close to it, but like, I thought it was really cool. She worked at Cartoon Network. She had, relations to a Disney voice actress, things like that. I was like, that's so cool. And then, so, she and I dated for a little bit, broke up, and stayed in contact. And sometimes we'd still, fool around every once in a while. It's fine. But, more recently, she started becoming the Rad Femme, like, all men are bad. And then she would look at me and say, except for you, because, you're an exception. You're one of the good ones. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything different, but okay, cool. And then she would say, and she was the what is it that the feminists really hate? Or no, the
Pride. Your fucking cat in your background, man.
Oh, I know, she's everywhere. I mean, like I just grabbed by a freaking foot. But she
no, stop looking.
What's the one that the anti-trans feminists or whatever, what do they call them?
The TERFs.
TERFs. There we go. She would literally call herself a TERF. So yeah, I thought that was really funny.
There's this community, and it's a pretty vocal one. They adapt the term Rad Femmes, and basically what they are, they're kind of like white nationalist feminists, so, if you could believe that. So there's like this community of women that are basically like shaming. They're like shaming other men in like right wing communities for like dating like Mexican chicks or something. It's like you're not saving the white race by going with like the mestizos or whatever. It's just some of the wackiest fucking shit that you'll see. I'll send you some of these accounts.
You're not saving the white race. I know.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be a trad, just be Mac Kenzie Puff. The second that she got pregnant, she left Twitter. Just bailed out. Just like, yeah, I'm gonna go have my kid and support my husband. And you guys can all go fuck off.
Yeah, what's really funny too is that the most, I would say, if I know any, like what I feel would be the most, by knowing her, the most legitimate, close to trad woman, conservative woman I would know is a Black French Canadian girl that I actually know, and she's very pretty, she's very feminine, she knows how to talk to me, things like that. I'm going, where are all of these? Because that's more of what it's like. But one out of all of them I know is like that, you know. And she's the most pleasant one of them all. And that would be in a good example of, you know, oh, I'm not saving the white race by, you know, telling her, you know, yeah,
Someone
you know,
has to
I kind of like you.
this shit.
Yeah, the Pareto distribution remains undefeated. You know.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, literally everything.
Or yeah, as my friend there says in the chat, they're masculine females. That's another thing too. Vegeta's in the gym. He'll call masculine women in the gym Vegetas. That's about right. Or, yeah, dude. Yeah, we talk about girls. They'll say words like bro or stuff like that, and we go, "I'm not your bro. You know, I'm not related to you. Don't call me that."
Yeah. Shit's always a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
for sure. No, it's just like, can you just put on a sexy dress and high heels and, you know, just shut up every now and then, you know,
be a girl.
Every now and then.
If only. Gosh.
Yeah. You know, what's so wrong with being a chick? You know, like Megatron, I'm sure you noticed this definitely with and Vince, you probably noticed this too, but I see this all the time with the younger girls, they're like 18, 19, 20. It's just literally every fucking thing they do in their lives has to be compared to what a man is doing. You know, literally everything that has to go on with their personality. It's like, can you just be a chick? Well, what's so wrong with being a girl? You know?
They have no idea how to do that.
Yeah.
I really love when they'll say something like, "Oh, I love being a woman," but then they try to do everything that's the most masculine thing or the most man, because they think being a man or being equal to a man is attractive, or that's how they should be. They're so brainwashed.
Yeah. It's the blind leading the blind. All over the place.
Oh yeah.
But well, we're at 9:90 and it's 10 past midnight at this point. So I don't think we're gonna make it tonight. So we'll probably wrap things up here. We're going for 3 hours now at this point. But Vince, plug your stuff, man. Where can people find you?
Oh, Masculine Geek Life. Let's head over there. YouTube, obviously, just type in Masculine Geek, and our show will come. Our broadcast will come up.
Yeah, good stuff. Governor, what you got, man?
I've got my Twitter, gov_Megatron, and my YouTube channel, simply at Governor Megatron is how you can find me. It's a unique enough name to find me, but I'll be doing more live streams. And on my Twitter, I said I've got some other things in the pipeline. I've hit some pretty decent subscriber counts recently, you know, good increase. So I'll keep that going. I've actually got some real content coming eventually. It's all in the pipeline, but live streams in between and stuff like this with you guys is enjoyable enough too. So I'm glad to be here.
Sure.
And, look forward to it again.
And of course, check out all of our antics on Twitter that all of us get into. So
that's my favorite thing.
Oh yeah, it brightens my day when
Me
I
too.
see, you know, somebody in this group of guys just, you know, dunking on somebody else. You know, it definitely brings a joy to my day. So
yeah.
Awesome. And then I guess on my end, check out Old Glory Club. Look at the stuff we're publishing over there. Published an article on there recently that's been getting a lot of traction. On Thursday, we got Vince coming on Man's Hour. We're going to talk about BDSM, and oh boy, is that going to be a fun conversation.
Oh yeah.
And Thursday, we also have the first poker night of the year. So from 9 to 11, we'll be having a bunch of guys in here just playing some Texas Hold'em and shooting the shit. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Other than that, thanks for coming by, guys, and see you next time.
Cool.
Man,
and if you